Okay, guys. So, the thumbnail, my destroyer, my picture of my destroyer on my thumbnail, the only one in the world that Jesus gave that picture to, I believe, was me, like that manifesting to itself. Am I right? Who knows? Maybe someone else has a picture of the destroyer, but that's what I have a picture of, and that's why everything's about to change. Okay, and they're doing it right underneath your noses. They're forcing vaccinations. That's all I gotta say. Oh, I can't actually talk about it on here and how they're doing it. So I'll have to talk on my Mixler tonight a little bit before Mike gets on. So everybody should come in because it just happened to me. So God is doing it to me so that I can witness this stuff out to everybody else. What just happened to me at work today. Okay. So when I've been telling you guys I've been getting laid off, God's putting it onto my heart that we're getting closer uh to going to the camp, and that's all I can say about that. There's a camp for me, and God said I'm not going to get out of it. Okay, He showed me that, showed me the pain and the suffering and the cold and the hunger that I'm going to suffer before I become. Okay, so in the Bible, like I want to talk about the martyrers, right? And who are these? They call the martyrers. So I'm going to start with an easy explanation what a martyr is. Even if you don't have Jesus and you're murdered, you go to heaven. Okay, how you doing, man? Oh, it's good to see you, my friend. It's really good to see you. My YouTube got fixed. I prayed to the Lord, and that day it got fixed, man. So the Lord is just, and like through people are just waking up, and on my phone was ringing. If you've been watching my shows and listening to my Mixler and watching my YouTubes, people are calling. Well, I'm on YouTube, and I didn't even know they were gonna call. Okay, so when I answered it, and God told me answer that phone call. So he witnesses through the channel, and 20 people in the last month have come to me, and I'm not joking to you, and they have told me, why is everything happening that you said it is? Everything that I see that you said it is happening. Why? So the evil people in my family think it's evil that's why it's happening. Like that's even crazy. You've been busy. Oh, so there's a couple shows of mine you got to go back on when you get the time, Cormac. And yeah, I just got laid off of work because I'm not taking something. Can you guess what I'm not taking, Cormac? And why I got laid off? Because I'm not part of the plan too. They're singling out us Christians now, and they're getting ready. Okay. So that's, terrible that everybody leaves when I come with this kind of news. Everybody's going to lose everything really soon. Okay. Including possibly family. And, I don't like to talk about that. Oh, that's good, buddy. That's good that you did that. The more of stuff you do like that, the more yours builds. Do you know what just happened to me today, Cormac? I was fired because I won't take the needle. So they are. And I knew this. Everything I said before is happening almost exactly like it is. Where do you think that comes from? Do you think I guessed that? So, Cormac, can you answer that question for me? Where do you think I get, like, some of the information I get from Mike? So, where do you think? Oh, that's awesome. So I'm asking you a question though, Cormac. Where do you think I get some of my information from with how many? Can you answer that question? I can't. I'm not. God won't allow me to. Listen, and here's the reason why. Because I believe these are one of the plagues that God said that he would said not to be a partaker of these plagues. Come out of her, people, so that you not be a partaker of these plagues. So I believe I've come out of it in Jesus. Not 100%, but as much as Jesus asked me, as much as I'm gonna. And Jesus knows, because yesterday I was sitting here, we were watching a movie, me and my wife. Yes, that's right. That's right. God gives us information through our dreams. So if I touch Jesus 6 times, Jesus is the spirit of revelation. So I've gotten it. And then he showed me everything about the destroyer plus the picture of it, which is my thumbnail on my YouTube channel here. I'm the only one in the world that has a picture of Shiva manifesting. At a second that I took a picture, oh, I got another picture. I took a picture of the destroyer again today. It's above us right now and it's releasing the red balls. But I can't see him, but God showed me in my dream when the destroyer is over us, it will be releasing its evil on this earth. And it starts doing it slowly. And then when Michael takes his hand off, it fully lets everything come down on the earth and everything that's in the earth come up on the earth. So if you don't have Jesus, you're not going to make it. It is physically, mentally, spiritually impossible to make it without Jesus Christ. He is the one and only that can do it. So I've had a lot of witnesses on my channel in the last 3 or 4 shows or 5 or 6 that I've done. I've had 2 people call. One I haven't heard from in 2 years almost. And all of a sudden, when I was on here, and God told me to answer that, and he witnessed to what this chat, what God does through us. It's not me glorifying it. That's why God keeps doing it. And I don't tell you anymore in my dreams that I tell you. I told my sister 3 wicked dreams. The dreams that I've been given by God are so good that they're enough to get me all the way to teach everybody else, to many people. He's given me enough wisdom and knowledge in these dreams alone to teach without even a Bible in my hand. And he's doing that for a reason, because Bibles are going to be, what are Bibles going to be, Cormac, soon? Can you guess? This is why I try to get people involved. What are they going to do to Bibles soon, Cormac? Can you guess? Yeah, but it's not the problem. Even some of the good people, uh, they don't have Christ. So that's the a biggest sin of all. If you don't believe in Christ, that's the biggest sin of all. You don't make it. Nobody makes it, right? Okay, so yes, that's coming quicker than people think. Just get ready. Okay, get ready. So, and that's why they prolonged the shutdowns. Did they prolong the shutdowns in Ireland, Cormac? Yes or no is all I need from you, buddy. Because, see, you're from Ireland, so we can tell you what's going on throughout the whole world with some of the people that are on my channel and what they're witnessing too. So, people getting mad at you because you don't have the shot, or people starting to do that to you, say that they don't want to be around you because you don't have the shot. They're getting furious about it, man. You, signs through the people, man. Okay. And the way that people are being split up right now, the separation from the sheep from the goats that's going on right now, the tares from the wheat is happening, and it's happening in big numbers, and it's happening, and it's people that you wouldn't think are turning on people of 40 years, like sisters, and doesn't like the beliefs that we have of Jesus and said, and you don't have the shots. So basically, she said, I can't see you anymore, and moved on without a shake of her heart, right? Yeah, well, that's where you got it good, McCormick. Cormick. I'd have loved to live in the country. I could have. But my wife wanted to live in the stupid city, and my dad sold $1 million farm that I could have been running today. But the Lord didn't want me to. The Lord's never wanted me to be a millionaire. So uh, I'm always struggling. And then once I start to do good, I lose my job. And I lost my job due for not taking the shots. And that's mandatory in Canada, almost, Cormac, everywhere. So the prelude to the chip, because then the destruction's going to start happening. Then that's when they're going to implicate these Marines from other countries, and they're going to round us up and put us in. Yeah, and I'd love to live in the country. As this grid is really bad, but I'm seeing how the work I'm doing is waking people up. Even my boss today. So when he said, "I love you, brother," when my boss said, "I love you, brother," and I've been teaching about God and what He does for the last year, and he's quit everything. He used to do drugs and everything else. So you never know what seed grows. So he's a possible growing seed because I've never heard him. I would never think he would tell me that he loved me. Okay. So that's because I have love in me and people see that. Okay. And I have guys at work that I teach that watch this too. And we're not supposed to be teaching this stuff at work. I could be losing my job to it, but that's not the reason why. There's a few reasons why they don't need the position anymore. And I don't think the people are going to be coming back for a very long time until all this destruction's been cleared up and the beast system is in full operation. Then, uh-oh, deaths and deaths and many, many, many deaths on the plate. So we're so close and people don't realize. Not to the coming of Jesus, because the lots has to come before that. But to you to meet Jesus in the cloud, deliverance. What comes after the iron furnace? The furnace of iron, the destroyer. Why does the destroyer come? What is the destroyer's purpose? Do you know, Cormac? The picture that I have of it, while I explain it, I'll show it to you today on video. I always take a video of it and a picture. And I did today. It only manifested Shiva. Do you know what Shiva means? The destroyer. I just work for a corporation. But you see, the corporation is what's doing all this. The corporations are doing this. The beast system through the corporations is doing this because he owns everything. Okay. He absolutely owns everything. I believe he's even there's people kissed his ring and he showed him some stuff that people uh now believe that he is God, like they all will, because he has signs and lying wonders. And I have a picture. I had a picture of one that Mark sent me of Jesus in the clouds, but that's not throughout the whole entire world. So that's not Jesus. That's a sign and lying wonders. You guys have to remember, every eye shall see him, even the ones that pierced him. So my job was a supervisor janitor. And they're saying, well, we don't need the supervisor position, but we're going to keep the janitor, the other guy. I see right through that stuff. And I went in and I sat with my other boss today, and me and him are more friends. And I said, in honest opinion, because we're friends, and this doesn't leave the room, but it's not, it's to go out though. Okay, God wanted me to share this. So even though you guys think I'm lying, God wanted, I'm going to show you guys the picture after, wanted me to share that. And I straight out and asked them, I said, is it? It's part of the reason because of the shots. I wanted to get that out of them, at least a part of the reason. Yes, it is. Because after next week, all these corporations have to have the shot. The other people are already saying, I don't want to be working with the people that don't have the shots. You get it? Okay, so I didn't take the shot for many reasons. First of all, is my faith is one of the reasons. I put my faith that I won't get that sickness, that I won't be a partaker of her plagues. The Lord showed me I was on watching the people being partakers of a plague, and He showed me where sometimes I come in and be a partaker, but I go out crying and ask Him for mercy and repent all the time. Where these were the children playing, and they never did come up with the other angels and me. In the one dream I saw, where there was dead bodies and the ocean was blood red, pure blood, looked like blood, and I saw dead bodies floating, and that's it of my dream. That's all I saw. That was the end of my dream. When I saw the plagues cast upon the earth, the seven plagues, right, or nine plagues, whatever it is, that He cast it on the earth because He's allowing them, those plagues, to take form. He's working with them. Because they're a virus. When they go into someone else, sometimes they tend to change. When a virus goes into someone, it changes a little bit, it mutates a little bit. So if it goes through enough people, it just keeps mutating. You can't contain it, right? So, and it's there, but they're using it all the way right to the end for their agendas. They're going to start calling some of these sicknesses COVID this and COVID that when they're actually not. But you know what? I got to not talk too much more about that stuff. I'm talking about what's in the Bible and what the Bible says of what's going to happen in these times. And I can see it unfolding, and the blessing I get out of it is that God is letting me see exactly what the Bible said happened with the people waxing cold. My own sister waxed cold against me, man. Very cruel. And my other sister was helping her, waxed cold against her. And I don't want to talk about it, but I'm just showing you the waxing of cold that the Bible says they'll do. And they curse down us and Jesus. And you and your Jesus can take your Jesus. And you know what I'm saying? After all we've done is ever help them. So it goes to show you, and this is why he wants me to tell you this, because God's even showing me He's separating. Even in my family, people are separating, right? And that's, I can't survive without being in the system because my wife won't allow it. She loves being in the city. Now I could get rid of my internet, but then you're never going to see me, brother. So I'm not going to do that. Yeah, and they hate the Bible. These people hate the Bible, okay? I can't be going places and pulling it out. They hate it. So, like Jesus said, they hate me, they hate you too. Man, I've been singled out and just gotten rid of out of my job. I'm going to be jobless, buddy. I'm going to be struggling here. You know, I got to pay for things too to keep them running, right? But my YouTube and my Mixer is dirt cheap for me. 100 $300 a year for both of them. Yeah, and people don't see right in front of them when they keep taking away, wear your mask, take your mask away, wear your mask, take your mask away. Well, things are going to get back to normal again, and whoop, under the rug comes the carpet, right? So that's what I'm here to show people, and the Lord's showing me it. And He keeps telling me, don't be doing that one bad sin that you do. And I've been crying out and crying out and crying out of nowhere. Like last night, I was sitting there watching movies. Something kicked that of repentance in me, repenting out to the Lord. And today, of course, when I get home, that sin, I'm facing it. The first thing when I walk in my door, I shut it. I started looking on the stuff where I usually do that sin through, and I shut it off and said, "No way." Lord said, "Go teach." He gave me the strength to not do that because I've learned. I've been through the fire so many times with that sin, and I've been pierced even with fiery darts. I've been pierced by fiery darts from the devil himself, okay? That God let him do to me. And they hurt for weeks. Oh my God, do they hurt for weeks? So we got a mic 2 to do. And you know, here's why. The reason why I play Mike is because we really talk very similar, and he'll be talking about something that I'll be talking about before I even heard him saying it, and vice versa. Sometimes I'll go on, and then afterward, like after me at 5 o'clock today, on comes Mike. He'll talk what I do. So God is witnessing so much through this channel, so much power. People see me in their dreams. Junior Pre Cormick saw me in his dreams. Mark, my friend that comes over, the bald guy with tattoos, he's seen a dream of the angels at the four corners. So we're going to go on that right now. I'm going to grab my phone for the angels at the four corners. We're going to research that. But first, like I said to you guys, I'm going to show you. And it's been really hard to see because the rays from the sun have been like blocking it partially, but it's still there. It's doing its work, its evil work while it's above us. It's releasing evil stuff all over that are working through people all over. It's like the captain's ship. They call them UFOs, but it's not a UFO. It's like Satan's captain ship that's over top of us, releasing things as God's allowing it to, right? Yeah, and you know what? I I knew it. See, like Mike has been preparing, God's been preparing me to not. I expected it. Here's the crazy thing, Cormac. I told my boss a week before, I guarantee in a week they'll be probably talking about laying me off. 5 days, 5 working days is a week for me. That's exactly. He called me the next day and said, I don't even know how you got that, but he said, I don't even know how I got that. It just came out of my mouth to him. He said, a week, you could be working here for a week, and then after that week, you is your date of layoff time. So, and that's a prayer answered for me because I asked God for some time where I'm gonna go fast for a 7 dayer with just water. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. And that's so that I can get all this stuff, the rest of the stuff that's wrong with me out and get into my deliverance, full deliverance, and be prepared for it. Oh, I don't only sense it coming. God's gave me pre of all of it coming. And he lines it up. And when it comes for that time, he gives it to me. So the four angels on the corners of the earth We're going to talk about that after. Let's show you this first. I'm going to turn it down because it was whatever I said was wrong. It wasn't on that side. It's on this side. I do believe. Let me see. No. Let me see. I might have to. Yes. Okay. I caught it and I went by too fast. See, it's videoed, so I have to stop it because it's hard. Like I say, right now, it's hard to see. Actually, you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to garbage this one. Now I know where it's at. I'm going to go out and I'm going to go videotape it for you now because this will be a better accurate video. Now the sun. Ah, bummer. Now the clouds came, and when they come, you can't see through the clouds. It doesn't. It's not like that. The clouds can't be in front of it because it's behind them. So it's not fake. Another way proving it's not fake. But hold on, when it comes out here. Dang cloud comes right at the time too. Ah, here it comes. Here it comes. Ah. Sorry guys, this cloud is blowing over. I want to show you this. I get it daily anyways. If as long as it's not cloudy. See, and they're covering it up too. And that's part of the reason why they're chemtrailing as well, because when it comes you can't see it as good. But sometimes what's messed up, I see it in the chemtrail with my own eyes. Hold on a second. Anyways, we're gonna go with Mike 2. We're gonna do some Mike. Here it is. I don't know what the heck it's doing. I don't want time lapse video. Cloud is still there, bugging me right now. All right. Anyways, sorry guys. I tried to go capture it, but the sun keeps this cloud. If it's a little cloud in the way, it won't. You won't see it through the cloud because it's behind the clouds, right? And so I did have it, but anyways, whatever. It doesn't matter. I should have did more when I got home. Yeah, at the same time they're poisoning us. That's right. But they are helping a little bit cause the heat to be a little bit of a deflection of the sun too. And someone on this Planet X channel that I tried to join on Facebook went and said he got all pissed off. I got the truth, and they're actually keeping the heat in. I got 100%. He just flipped out on me. It's like just like I was like, okay, you're a Planet X guy. You're believing the wrong belief. You see this? If the people that have these believings have other false doctrines as well, so they're given over to a delusion. Everybody's given over to a different delusion, by the way. The great delusion's here, and many little people, small people, are actually getting the almost the whole picture to the point we are now. And I get that from God. I've already had it given to me through many dreams of God. I've seen what they call Nibiru, the destroyer, the iron furnace, the furnace of iron. I even found in the Bible. It's 3 different names for it, right? And it's came 4 times. In 17 something it came, and it didn't do as much destruction. Probably did somewhere indignation was set against. So when you have indignation against God, something's coming against you to smarten you up physically, and it's going to be harsh, especially this time. It's going to be like no other time. And I keep telling people all this stuff's coming. I had 20 people come to me, no kidding you, in this last month and said, the things that you're saying, I'm seeing them now. And I give all the credit to my Lord. He gives it to this channel for the small remnant of people that are watching the jackass that Jesus is riding in on, like he did the first time. And this is why they missed him. And they're going to miss him this time because the jackass is the foolish. He is the one that God is. Yeah. Oh, there's just another one. Yeah, I know. I've got it all. I was going to do that too. I always go through all of that too, just like Paul Begley does. Okay, so Jesus, my connection is not unstable in the name of Jesus. Once that sun fully comes out, I'm going to go out and pop up a snapshot of the destroyer that's in our atmosphere right now. As I'm talking, the sun is coming straight out. So, yeah, and these earthquakes. Okay, so let me tell you. Okay, yeah, good that you brought that up, Cormac. See, this is what watchers do. They also watch what's happening worldwide. Vancouver, along the Cascadia, had a 6.5 earthquake, and they weren't telling the world that. When that one goes, millions of people in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, are going to die. Anybody in the area of Vancouver and all the islands around, and anything, and the water's going to go all the way to my hometown, Calgary, and most of that is going to be gone, my hometown. And then it's going to even come to where I'm living from Calgary to here and flood us as well. I'm going to tell you guys something else that blew me something away. That day that my boss called me and said, you're getting laid off, he got off the phone and shit came up and flooded the whole entire place. So God is already, you get where that happened? Right after they fired me, shit came up out of all the pipes and soaked the whole entire bottom floor almost. So God, and it's all a wow what happens to me, already punished them for that. There's going to be more to come. And I don't wish it upon them, and I'm not wishing it upon them. I'm wishing it upon the building, the homestead of that nobody is there. So my shows aren't boring because the Lord's working through them. God, Jesus is not boring, okay? So the stuff that's happening and the stuff we're going through right now, to me, is all that my mind's on is saving the people out of. Okay. So let's go on and let's tell you about some of these things and show some of them. I keep some of my YouTube channel, guys, for this because I have guys that, you see, there's my picture of the Nibiru in my thumbnail. Sorry, the Destroyer in my thumbnail. So that's the picture I can get every day, but I'll never catch one with it manifesting what it actually is. And that was God showing me what it actually is. And people are saying, well, it's coming, it's in our universe. Oh, it's coming, just entering in our universe. You said that 10 years ago. If it's just entering 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. 4 or 5 years ago. So it's the rarest photo I've ever. I wish but in that second, it manifested. So it would only be possible for something to manifest in that time if God wanted me to see that. He showed it to me in many dreams. And he also gave me a picture of it manifesting itself. Shiva. It is some picture. It has a demon manifesting on it. You've seen it many times, Karmic. I even showed it to my daughter-in-law yesterday right in front of her face. The picture I have right on the only camera that I keep it on for a reason. I don't put this on any other camera. I keep it on the camera where I have it, and that's it. I don't give it away. And I gave it to Paul Begley when he had that red orb, which the red orb is only the reflection of. He was saying that was Planet X and Nibiru. No, it wasn't. It was a reflection of what I have. And he took the picture that I sent him and he stuffed it under the paper. He stuffed it out of the way. He did not show it. And I'm shocked. I gave it to him. I'm trying to work with the guy here, and he will not work with the pictures I have. So, and I had it on his Facebook channel. And people, one guy was saying, "Oh, those are Photoshops. I don't even barely know how to run my YouTube, let alone Photoshop it." And I had a witness beside me that gave himself to God. When he saw that's a demon, he pointed it out to me, by the way, and he didn't believe in God. He sees everything I tell him now. Yup, yup. He's another one that came, and he just agreed. I said, "Isn't that weird? All that's happening." He was here talking with me for like an hour. Okay. So on top of that, God giving me that picture, someone started believing Jesus that day with that picture. So God uses it, doesn't use it in vain. And he gave it to me to use and warn the people. Here's what's coming, the destroyer. And he said, Rod, after that, he showed me that I get desolate, that I get taken out of my house. Okay. I get pulled to the top of the mountain, is what he showed me after that. And that is a wedding supper of the Lamb. That's why everybody was cooking. These people were going through my kitchen, and I never even had any food in there. And someone was cooking them food, and there was food going everywhere. The wedding supper of the Lamb. We're the one getting married. We are the bride. He is the groom. And he's coming to meet all of his brides in the cloud. After, when you get up there, you're going to see pop, 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 pop. People are going to start popping up. It's going to be insane because your time's no longer. And it's going to go by fast. And then we're going to come and reign for 1,000 years. And it's going to take exactly 1,000 years. But you're not going to be in your body. You're going to be reigning in your light form as a child of God. Okay, so we don't know what yet, but we will be like Jesus. Oh, I can tell you, Cormac, I've took pictures of the night sky and took pictures of dragon. You could see the dragon, and even my son see it. You could see a dragon, and it looked like crystal glass in the sky. He had a tongue and everything. Your dragon had a tongue. And the one time I caught something like that, it had teeth like that, but it was weird. It had like an ape face with huge teeth. It was a demon. Oh man, have I ever. And I had to, and my wife erased like hundreds of my pictures, brothers. Hundreds of my pictures. She's done nothing for my ministry to help it at all. It's been a hindrance to it, actually. But I love her, and that's what you get, right? Everything wants to kick against the pricks on me. It's not easy. I got everyone kicking up against me, but yet some of them are coming back and saying, I'm seeing everything you said happen. I'm seeing you in my dream. Brother, what's this dream mean? Okay, so here's where we're going. I wanted to go to tell you where we are. Okay, and it's in Revelations. All right, so give me a second. Before angels were. God said to the four angels on the corners of the earth, whoa, stop. Let me put a mark on them. KJV. So, when you're talking Revelations, you're talking Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John too. And I believe in Revelations are that, okay? So they're all together. So in Mark, and it said he will send out the angels to gather his elect. I wanted to say that. His elect from the four corners. So how come Jesus said that he will send out to the four corners of the earth to gather God's every direction under the sky? Okay? So he is sending his angels. He is sending his angels to the four corners of the earth to gather God's elect. Well, God's elect is everyone that's God's child. So if you're God's child, you'll be God's elect. He'll be there. Pray that you're worthy to escape, because after this Antichrist guy rises, the one that they're kissing his ring already, and he's showing them resurrections and doing all sorts of things, I guarantee you, in other places of the world. And you know what I mean? And he's coming. And when he does, the destroyer comes by around that time, the angel of the bottomless pit. And opens up the bottomless pit. Abaddon. Okay. We wanted to go in. I'm gonna go and check on. I'm gonna show you all the volcanoes, all what's happened in the last few days. But we're working on revelations in this dream that my friend had. And always. Okay. And after, okay, so here it is. Revelation 7:1. And after these things, I saw the four angels standing on the corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on either, nor the sea, nor any tree. So he's telling, wait before you do the full destruction, which I believe just happened, because we've been getting a lot of destruction all across the earth. And my friend had the dream of those four corners standing on of those angels. So what he's saying, and also until I seal the ones, because the people of Israel, some of God's true children don't believe in Jesus. They don't. The Jews don't believe in Jesus. But God made a covenant with the Jews. So if you are true of Jew inside, never mind outside, inside, you will not be forsaken. Even when they forsake him, because he made a covenant with them, God made a covenant with them. So if he goes and destroys them, the Israelites, the true ones that have to be marked, if he destroys them, he's a liar, because he said, not one of my people, Israelites, will perish. So if he didn't come back and mark these people that have to stay through great tribulation, oh yeah, and did you notice the Taliban's back? Remember the last time they were around? What did they do? 9/11 happened and they had someone to blame. But the Taliban is people. It's just the corporations paying people to become militants for them. That's all they are. Afghanistani people. And then they start attacking Afghanistan and say, well, people got a flood. Well, half of those people are sleeper cells that are flooding into our countries right before your eyes. These people are going to be the ones that have you at gunpoint. And if you don't listen, they're going to blow you apart. Okay? So they're in every country. They already have it. Okay? They've already integrated their people in every country. And they're going to wake up, and now they've been planting people in everybody's country for years, hundreds of years, okay, on purpose for this time, and having them keep their doctrines of Baal, Christianity, religion, and they're going to be the ones that are coming to put us in these camps. And here's what a martyr does. Okay, so I'm going to get out of that. That's the dream I got. And I interpreted that. And the crazy thing about it was the next day, Mike was teaching on that. How was that even possible? And the day after that, I read the Bible, and boom, there that was too. Well, yeah, there's a time that they have too. And that's almost come up. You know that. They set a date for something that's going to, another 9/11 attack. So now you see where the Taliban come from. Oh, it's my son. I can't answer him. This one I can't answer. Okay. So, and I hate to do this, but I'm on a YouTube, and my son calls me at the worst times. Okay. Quit ringing. Be strong, brother. The same happened to me. And very soon, well, with camp job, no vaccination, no work. Very soon, test negative results. God has you held in his hands, ruling a rod of iron. My name is Rod. So, and I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying I'm the best person you'd ever meet, but I'll tell you one thing: the things that the Lord's done inside of me, He softened my heart so much. I hated everything and everybody and had no joy in me. I was depressed. He has taken so much away from me. We have to remember how to give thanks to our Lord every day for just like everything. And yesterday I was sitting there for 2 hours. I had to cover my face, and there was just so many tears coming in. I was having a hard time breathing even. I don't know how. My wife probably picked it up and didn't say anything. So my son's going through this calling business again. Listen, I'm not answering because I'm doing it. Sorry, son, but I'm doing something for the Lord right now. Can't answer you. Okay, so yeah, and one of my guys from my show that I can't talk with, he lives here. I have people that live here that are on my shows that I help bring out of God and help them bring out of these false doctrine churches. We can deliver you. Come here, get deliverance. No way. I'm going to Jesus for my deliverance. No thanks. I don't trust men to be able to deliver me. Plus, you don't know if you got those demons in you, how are you going to deliver someone else? All you're going to do is put more in them. That's all you're going to do. So, if you haven't been delivered enough, you can't do deliverance. You almost have to fully be delivered to do deliverance. Almost. Or else you're not going to be strong enough. They're going to laugh at you when you use in the name of Jesus, by the way. In the Son of the living God, Jesus Christ, that was born of Nazareth, who died for me in the cross, resurrected, and is coming back. That's using the power of. And they only say in the name of Jesus. It's not good enough, especially if you don't have the strength to beat your evils inside. Or you think you can beat other people's evils inside of them? No, all you're going to do is piss it off. That's why you give them love. That's what you do for other evil. You give it love, and if it loses its mind on you, you give it love, and that brings light to their heart. Just like the Grinch stole Christmas. Something like what he did. His heart was too small, and then they grew it big, and he was the worst of them all. And then when he grew his heart, yes, born again of a new spirit. And that's a process. You're given more of that spirit as you seek him more. He gives you more of that spirit so you have more strength to say no to that strongest sin that you have sitting in front of you, like I have been for the last week. And it doesn't stop, by the way. As soon as I get a home alone, when you're home alone, you know that's the most time you will be attacked by the darkness that's in you. Telling you from personal experience over and over and over and over. That's when I'm home. I have to be given to the Lord. I have to be keeping this house strong in God. If you're doing evil all the time in it, it's going to be all evil. When we make mistakes, we do one, and that's why we're covered by blood, and He takes that mistake away. But you have to cry that out to Him. Ye, you know what? We're all not quite born again. When you're truly fully born again, that's why Jesus says, go and be whole. Holy means whole. Well, not one of us is fully righteous. Not one of us is wholly righteous. Fully, holy. We're not yet. And that's a process that takes place that Jesus does in you. You don't do it. You give your life over to him. And I kept trying to take my evil as sin and, well, I'm going to do this next time. I'm going to do this next time. No, I'm not. I'm just going to worry about my brother. And he takes care of that. So that to me is the most, well, that's what I do, or I teach. That's what I do, or I listen to Mike from around the world or Steve Quayle. That's why I have my Mixler. Has tons, hundreds of hours of Mike and Steve Quayle. So those are the only two that I listen to. That's not me. Every once in a while, Eddie Paul Flowers on YouTube. He's one of the only other guys I listen to on YouTube. He's right with, and he has been a pastor for many years, and he cries out. And I truly see the Lord working through him, and he's been telling the same thing I have. Yell it from the rooftop. God sends a messenger to you. God sent you in this channel, Cormac, and whoever else is in here. Come in this channel because God sent you here so that you can find some of the truth. I don't have all of it, but what I'm giving you is He's given to me that I can give it to you. Never been able to work out how to get on it? In your apps. You go to your app store. You go to your app store, you push in Mixlr, Mixlr. Up it comes. Up comes this red screen, Mixlr. Buddy, I've got some stuff on there, information on there that I can't tell out on here too much. Because I'll lose this channel. I'm not into losing my channel. This will come up. Mixlr. And search bar. RODP. Press on that. RODP. Search. Up will come this guy. I'm the only one there. Same as press on that. And right here will be a follow. Follow me. And down at the bottom is where you get all your show reels. Look how many are there. Let me see how many are there. 126 shows, all 2 hours. Add that up. That's your show reel. That's where you get all your shows from, right? Yeah, in your app store. And it's free. Mixer's free, right? Yeah, and then you just follow me, and because I'm not going to be on YouTube forever. I believe really soon they're going to be shutting that stuff down. So they just added 2 months now to all the stuff they had. You have to pay for it? Not to listen, only to I don't have to pay for mine. I have to pay for mine to broadcast, but not to listen. I never had to pay for mine. I only paid for it when I started broadcasting last Christmas, so it's coming up again. All right, so let's go on to Mike from the other day. Mike from around the world. Because that's my hour of speaking. That's how I'm going to do it. I can't be sitting here giving too much of what I've already given you guys. You guys have got the understanding. Some of the keys to making is forgiveness and your brother before you. Anyone that's not you. If you don't forgive one, you're in trouble. So, anyways, we're going for Mike around the world right now. What he did yesterday. Because I need to do things around the house too. So that's what I do too when I'm listening. And I listened to it too already. So I didn't really listen to all of it though. Wow. So yeah, it's probably going to be about a 3-hour show. If you can't be here for it, you can listen to Mike later. It's going to be a 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour. On the ship got here on Gilligan's Island with Gilligan, the skipper too. The millionaire and his wife, the movie star, to Professor and Marianne, this world's Gilligan's Island. This world is Gilligan's Island. And it's really, really, really stupid right now. And I can't wait till the Lord takes me out. But we're going to do this, Mike. And then after Mike's done, I'm going to show all the things. It's going to be a long show today. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be just watering my plants and stuff right around it. So when something comes up and I'm going to get into, I'll get in.
Good afternoon, everybody. You guys make sure you can hear me okay. Let me pull you up. I think I can see a couple of you guys. Folks, I want to come on to address a couple things with you. You guys know about the border issue, right? You guys know about that. And the border issue is it's becoming more.
Wow. So remember, I said they're going to start letting people flood in.
Just a lot of displacement. A lot of displacement. And there are a lot more people to come. A lot of attention is down there at the border, right? But it's also bringing out a lot of hostile behaviors. Lots. And in any situation like this where there's hostile behaviors, it takes a balance of the spirit to really subdue it. How many of you in your own places can feel the hostilities increasing? Anybody?
You know, and I had to stop that because here we go, witnessing to one thing. When I said when I come home, I'm faced with that evil guy at my door waiting for me to come home to do that one sin. So I came in, I started to gonna go do it, and then I stopped and I said, wait a minute, Rod, this is an old pattern. You've done it many times. You've been through this washer enough. You know better. And I went right to my teaching. I went right praying to the Lord, asked the Lord to fill me and give me what he needs to. And here's Mike talking exactly two things. He's only, let me tell you, what? Okay. Oh, no. What the heck happening?
Hostile, very hostile.
Okay, so he's only spoke 5 minutes. So I get home and it's very hostile. It's like, turn it on right now and go and do it and don't worry about the Lord. He'll forgive you. It's like that right away. And it hits me impulse as soon as I get in the house. And then I got to war that dude. And then Jesus removes him. Crazy. And it did it to me yesterday. I got home into my home because that's where he wants to assault you the most right now. And that's where he's going to do it the most right now. And that's where you're being tested is when you're alone because that'll show the true you. If you're fighting and say, no, 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 God, and you're crying out and saying no, and you don't do it, you're all good. So keep working and work, and that and the Lord's also saying you're not working enough too. I'm sending the evil on you. You need to get back into work. You need to be doing your studying of the Lord. You need to be reading the Bible. You need to be praying. You need to be singing out to the Lord. You need to be forgiving your brothers. You need to be asking for repentance. You're on your knees. Your salvation is earned on your knees. You need to literally get on your knees 2-3 times a day is what I do. Okay. A lot of the times I just pray to him in my head all day. I talk to him all day. Even when I was sitting at the party in the darkness, I wasn't there. I was talking with the Lord the whole entire time. That's what I do. I wake up breathing, eating, tasting, reading, singing, praying to him to guide me. And he's done just that. And with my guidance that he's done with me, has shown to other people, hey, if he can do it, and man, that Lord is really not forsaken me. He really hasn't. I should not be a Christian. I don't see how you have to pay for listening on Mixer. Anyways, let's keep going. Because I'm using it here free right now to play this.
People. Because in truth, they're well outside the practices of love itself. Now, the Bible says the love of many is going to wax colder and colder, right?
Oh, wow. Okay. So, didn't I just say that with my sister? I see it with my wife's best friend, like a sister. I see it with my family turning on me, telling me, "Don't come teaching that stuff around here. I'm going to kill you if you do." I'm not kidding you. I see the drawing nearer. Not only do I feel it, I see it. Okay. Activity in the people is picking up. They're getting more colder. They're falling more into the world. Even the ones that are coming out a little bit, I'm struggling to try to help pull them through this, but their faith is so low that I just keep begging God to give his faith to the people that we're teaching. So if you've got some people you're talking about with God and they're interested in, we have to always constantly pray for their supplication and for God to show them something that he did to us, right? We need to pray for other people, you see, because they're not seeing it. So we need to ask God for our sisters that don't believe in the Bible to have some occurrence with some sort of angel or heavenly angelic being, or some sort of dream, or some sort of something that happens to them to wake them up. And some of it, unfortunately, can be dark. God has woken me up many times using evil on me. So if you don't think God uses evil on you, read. He says, I created the evil and good to do with my pleasure what it does. So it has a purpose. Satan has a big, huge purpose. And he's like a vacuum cleaner. He's going to come and clean off the viruses on this earth. And if you don't have Jesus, you're going to be cleaned off. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're gone. So I'm not even fooling around with that one. You're done. You're finished. Finito. Right? Okay, let's keep going.
Because iniquity abounds. If you look at that passage and you look at that word iniquity, right?
Which is, hey man, this is why I like kind of going off. Iniquity abounds. So in the people of darkness, the iniquity will get worse and worse and worse. Hold on, I gotta shut my screen. Okay, so especially in the time that we're in, iniquity is flourishing, and kids go to jail for like not even a quarter of the time that I did when I was their age, my kid, right? If I did what my kid did in my day, I would still be in jail. He would have never been born. Okay? So, lawlessness, right? And they're letting these criminals out behind people's backs. They don't even know what kind of criminals they're letting out right now. They're exempting some of these badass, the worst criminals, and they're injecting them into our societies, and they're paying them to continue the life they're doing, and they're probably saying, for this one, turn your back on him. Let him do what he's doing. Right? So, and I don't know that for sure, but that would only make sense to order out of chaos. So, a good way to cause order out of chaos, wouldn't it be letting out these badasses in jail? These murderers and rapists and killers and all that? Yes, it would. And it would cause much chaos. So, they're slowly entering them in. And I believe those people, they do a few sins and they're probably taken over by evil instantly. So, and yeah, they're probably possessed instantly because that's what they've been waiting for. They've been waiting for possession to possess people. And when they get released from jail and they get offered all that stuff, keep doing what you like to do and we'll pay you for it. What do they like to do? Kill, murder, rape, and destroy, just like Satan. So it would only make sense that they would be releasing people out of jails, because my kid gets out 48 criminal record charges, uh, B&Es, many break and enters, lofting, which is really bad when you break into someone's house and you live in it when they're not there at the time. Loaf, or what's it called? I forget what it's called. Lofting or something low, or I don't know, but it's really bad because it's break and enter and it's also many other things, theft and all this other stuff, right? So, but anyway, so we see these things in this earth. Oh, especially if you're trying to be as righteous as you can. Remember, working as hard to be as righteous as you can be. All right, so let's go on with Mike. It's crazy because like 3 or 4 things he's talked about in 2 minutes that I talked about on when I was talking, and now he is. And I listened to this and I don't remember the words of Mike because I've listened to so many shows of him, right? So I didn't know he was going to be actually popping these things out. I didn't remember every word for word, right? Crazy.
There are plenty of things happening that are immoral. They're not right. They're not sound. And more of those activities are happening. The unfortunate part is it's beginning to affect a lot of you. More and more every single day, I see a lot of Christians who are fully adopting some of the violence that's in the world. They're fully adopting it. And it's almost like a trick. But I tell you this, if you take a side with the world, you're not in the kingdom. Okay, you're not here to take a side with the world. You're already on a side. You're on the side of righteousness. It's not very good to pick a side among Babylon when the Lord said, "Come out of her, my people, that you be not partakers of her plagues." All right, or be not.
Wow, and I even said that today. Be not partaker of her plagues, come out of her, my people. Man, do you see that? Same teachings. Quite crazy. I forgot what he said that I was gonna say. Another thing he said that it's just wow. Just almost everything he says, I say every time we talk. It's like we're in the same house. That's the spirit working through us. Let's keep going.
Partakers of her sins, that you partake not of her plagues. So anybody who is steeped in these kingdoms of men are going to undergo what happens to them. That means if you're a Christian, right, and you are deeply embedded with the world, that could be mentally consumed by the world, you will undergo the same plagues that will come upon the earth. For a Christian, they are immune from the plagues that come upon the earth for the sake of men. Do you guys understand that? The Bible is clear, Christ is clear. Those who are part of the world.
Okay, so why would I take a vaccination? I'm going against my belief then. This makes a very good point to the why would I take it? Because I'm not being a partaker of her sins. Now, not to say I haven't done one here and there, but I'm not embeddedly steeped into my sins. I, through Jesus, have gotten lots of power to get through even my worst ones at the time, proven today and yesterday and the last week. And I got to keep that up. And I need to do my work to make sure I can. See, once I stop doing work for the Lord, stop reading, stop praying, in comes these back things, and then I don't have the strength to deal with them because I've let the strength go to giving it over to them. So you're worshiping the devil when you keep doing it. Now, if you're having trouble and you're getting rid of it, and it takes time to get out, you're not. I got to go to the washroom. Hold on.
Those who are part of the sins of the world, that means taken aside, right? There's no righteousness and violence, none. It doesn't matter what looks good. good or what looks wrong. There's no right side in violence. Any of the Christians who are part of that, right? That's partaking in the sins of the world. And if that's going to be any Christian, they're going to partake of the plagues. It does not mean the person is condemned. It means the person is about to have a very miserable life. And there are some pretty awful things happening to a lot of people. Every day now I have conversations with folks who are broken, distraught. It's a lot of people losing family members. This week alone, I have addressed at least 72 people who've lost their spouses. 72 who lost their spouses. Not their mother, not their dads, their spouse, their other half. These people are broken, and they're Christians, and they never thought that would happen. They never considered a life without their spouse. More and more of these things are happening. Why? Because we live.
So I'm going to lose my job here. I've lost my job. I already have. This is my last week here. And my wife was all panicking. And I'm like, what are you panicking for? The Lord's got this. He's going to do something. Someone's going to help us. Something's going to give us something to survive. So I've already thought of it. Lord's already told me I'm going to use the dark ones to also, not only I'm using the dark evil to deliver your evil, I'm going to use the evil people to feed you. That's what I believe, because they still have a little bit of heart. See, even the evilest person sometimes hates seeing someone starve. So how about our families, the ones that haven't given themselves to God yet? I'm going to have to get someone to do my grocery shopping for me, guys. My wife and me ain't taking the needle. We're going to have to move in with someone. They're going to have to take on our budget, our food, everything. So who's going to be willing to do that for us? Well, I know some people in my family, but I'm not mentioning any names, because I don't know what the Lord has in store for me. Okay, I'm not making any plans. I don't have a backup plan. I don't need a backup plan. I have one plan and one plan only, and that's only keep following Jesus. He'll make that way for me. And I believe that. And I settled my wife's heart down. I said, wife, I said, is your heart ever settled? And she stopped right away when I said that to her. It didn't even come out of, it wasn't even me that said it. It was like God was speaking through me to her, and she caught that, and she stopped. And now she's like, it's okay, Rod, don't worry. We can get, I already know that. Of course, I already know that. I believe in Jesus to take care of me. Something's going to come up. I already have a friend that wants to give me a job, but I've gotten the advice, don't take that job, because that's a weak job. Go find a better one. So, and I get a good reference. So it won't be actually hard for me unless they say you need to take a vaccination. Some people their job is waiting for them right now to take a vaccination before they hire them. I just got fired for not taking my vaccination. This is how close we are. All of Canada right now is basically vaccination passport and bracelet for some countries. You can't take that bracelet off. It'll be integrated with your blood in your system somehow. You won't be able to take it off. Made of Kevlar or something. So, and different parts of the world are going to implicate different things. But when you go to other countries, that thing considers you as one of them the way they do, and it punches your identification in as well, because it'll be a one world identification system. And that's why they bought all the farms. Okay, so they bought all the farms to put their computers in. Why would you put computers on farmland? To store information on you and me too as well. So they got the book on you. On top of it, your phone has the book on you more than you know. Your phone knows when you're lying. So I'm not going to be a part of this beast system that's rising. And they know that I have God in me. They know what I pursue there. I'm not a part of that. I was the only one at my job, by the way, fired for not taking my vaccination because everybody else took it there. You get it? Huh. I don't run where the rest are because I believe I'm not a partaker of her sins, even though I've done some that have been purging out of me and some bad. But I'm not being a partaker. My spirit isn't being a partaker. My flesh is. And my flesh was weak. Now the Lord's mate is getting it strong enough to say no. So after 4 years of fighting this, it comes in his time. Nothing comes in your time. Nothing. You give your life to Jesus. It's not your time then, by the way. Okay. And there's a price you have to pay. There's a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of being mistreated, unloved, last in line, hated by the world. What did Jesus Christ say? The world hates me. The world hated me. The world's going to hate you. The world loves his own. So if everybody loves you, then maybe you might want to start to think that you're one of the world's own. I don't know. I'm not steeped in this world, as you can see. I'm steeped in God. Even when I go away for my weekend, I got to do a video Saturday morning and stuff was happening on my video. People were phoning saying, Rod, how come this stuff, everything I see? I've had 4 or 5 witnesses now on my show phone me and verify what God has verified to all of us, not me. I never verified nothing. I'll only get it through God to give to you. And that's what's given to you to give other people and build this ministry. The Lord's building this ministry, and I've seen 5 in the last month. And hey, you know what? It might be only 5, but those 5 might be leaving those itchy ear guys now because they really want to hear the word of the Lord. They don't need to hear this milk and this fake stuff about NASA and scientists and Nibiru on Planet X and fake teachings of rapture and the temple is God's temple that he's building. No, it's not. God doesn't dwell in temple. He dwells in man. Nothing can contain God. He's everywhere, omnipresent, everywhere at one time, omnipotent. He can do everything. He can do all. So that's what omnipotent means. He can do everything. And he's everywhere at one time. He's even in your darkest place, in your darkest sin, at your darkest hour, in your most lonely time, and your most time at the bottom. He's there with you. And he's suffering that with you if you are his child. But it's a must need. We must suffer so that we don't have to suffer ever again. And because we suffer, the evil ones won't suffer, but they will at the end for eternity. And they do suffer on the earth too, as well. But you know, we have to be just to them, man. We have to try to bring them out of that because they're going to a pit forever that is unexplainable. Oh, I can explain it all right. I can explain it. Take all the murders that have ever been done on this earth and keep doing that 50 million times worse daily over and over forever. And you can't imagine. So, why do we save our brothers? Why do we go out and save? Because they're your dang brother. Quit letting them burn in the fire. Get them going on the Lord. Start showing them things bit by bit, little by little, piece by piece. Get them a Bible. Everybody that's gives himself to the Lord should always have a couple extra Bibles in their house in case someone that they help save doesn't have one. Click, click, click. Bibles are going to disappear out of our houses very soon. You are not going to be allowed to have Bibles very soon. Remember, this system's given fully over soon. And right now we're in the transition of it. And the people don't see it, but the people that are doing it do. They know exactly what we're doing. And so does God, and so does Satan. But God knows all of it because he's in control of it. He is the ruler of it. He'll tell you what will be and what won't be. He'll tell you what's yea and he'll tell you what's nay. And all you got to do is stay with the Lord. So, and work, man. Show him your work. Show him your devotion. Show him how much you love doing it. Okay, so I love doing what I'm doing now. I do not do this for gain of any sort. I do this because I love it and I love the people. And I'm hoping some new people come on, and they go, oh, hey, this guy really sounds like, you know, he really sounds what I need. See, some people need the voice of me, and some people need the voice of someone else, and some people hear the voice of someone else, and someone else's light shines to them. That's what I'm trying to say. So your light might shine. God's going to put those people in your path that your light is going to shine to them. So don't hide it under a bush. Jesus went into the most darkest places. You know why? We're born into darkness to come to the marvelous light and to bring our brothers out of the darkness, snatch their souls out of the pit of hell, and bring them with us to heaven where we can spend eternity with them. The more the merrier, isn't it? Isn't the party or fun? Isn't the party fun with more people? Yeah. Well, there's only going to be a certain amount. God's true children, the ones that are already marked. You're already marked, man. So the mark's already here. Half of it's here. 3/4 of it's here. There's only a quarter. There's 3/4. 6, 3 score 6. The 3 score are the 3 parts of the beast, right? Which are you're born either of God or Satan. Your works are either of God or Satan. You're marked from the beginning. The phone and your worship, the citizenship card. So who you worship is going to be put to the test. They're going to tell you, listen, you can't bring in any of all these other religions. And Jesus, believe me, is the worst one, especially that one. You have to basically bow to this one, the new God, the God of force. They're basically telling you to bow to Satan. So as soon as you sign your name, you've signed your line on with blood. That is what they talk about when you sign your soul to the devil. That will be signing your soul to the devil, and none of God's children will do that. Not one of them will. He says he's not going to leave one of us here of his child. If you are God's children, you're not staying here. You're going to be with your Father. And it may be sooner than you think or even I think. All right, let's go on. My stupid phone, I can toss this thing in the dark garbage.
In a world that is incredibly seductive. In other words, not so much in some immoral or evil way, but it draws you in and you begin to believe that life is just like men say it is. That's what you begin to believe. When that happens, when you believe that life is just like men say it is, you are full of contradictions. We become full of contradictions. We become unsettled. I know a lot of Christians right now are tired of the internal storm. How many of you are tired of that internal storm? It's almost like an internal storm. I remember the days when I went through these internal storms, constantly trying to grab hold of righteousness, right? But having to grapple with the world. And it almost seemed like in order to live in this world, you could not fully embrace biblical themes. Some,
Okay, I wanted to stop that for a second. See, some people I believe are living through great tribulation. This is great tribulation for me, okay? Last 5 years I've been living through a storm. Day and night, night and day, and day and night, night and day, weekend, morning, afternoon, you name it. Night and day, fight and day, and fight night, fight day, fight night and day and fight night, fight in the morning, fight in the day, fight in the evening, fight when I get home, fight when I go to sleep, fight when I wake up. I fight for the Lord. I fight for Jesus Christ every day, and the darkness is getting more and more aggressive, but God is getting more aggressive in me, and it's the strength. That's where the strength starts give to you, where you don't have to do those sins anymore, and you start getting through them, and you overcome them sins. Be an overcomer. If you're being an overcomer of her plagues too, you'll be an overcomer of everything. You'll get crowns, which I don't even care about. I'll be a bum in heaven. I'll go to heaven and live on the streets. That's fine with me.
precisely what I'm talking about, right? You know precisely what I'm talking about. But it's also the time when I began to learn about the trust of the Lord, right? Is it easy? You better believe it's not. It is not easy, no matter what anybody says, right? When you have experience, separate.
Okay, so that's what he's saying. Is it easy going through these storms? Oh, no, it's not. Because now you're falling into God's chastising. You've done a sin, and now he's going to whoop you. Get ready for a whooping. But you know what? After, you're going to glorify in it, because you're going to realize, wow, the trust in the Lord, trust in the Lord, trust in the Lord. No wonder why he does these things, because I don't want to do them anymore. I see it. Every time I do that, I get zapped. A buzzer zaps me, and the buzzer's worse each time. So, because you have to reap it. It's always making you reap it worse and worse and worse, because you're still not listening and being obedient and hearkening to God when he's speaking to you. So if you're sitting there keep doing your sin, you're not hearkening to God. You've done your sin. Now you're going to get the spanking. All right. So I'm with him. He rules us with a rod. Remember? What is that rod that he's ruling us with? That's the spanking we get when we do something wrong, and it straightens us up. Tries to, like you get a ticket for driving too fast, and you start to learn where that guy likes to sit, and where you've gotten hit with that ticket 3 times. And when you come to that zone, you are prepared. That's the same thing that's happening right now. We're coming to the zone, and he's preparing you. So you better hope you're going through great tribulation right now. You better ask God to start great tribulation with you right now. Okay? Because it's appointed for some people to go through great tribulation. And if your life has been all easy and roses and gold petals and all that kind of stuff, get ready. You're going to go through a great tribulation. I've been going through it for 5 years. Day and night, night and day, night and day, day and night. In the dream, out of dream. In the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening, in the day, in the night, in the night, in the day. On the weekend, on the long weekend, on the holiday, on every day. As soon as my eyes are open, I'm being attacked by the devil, but I'm glorifying God. Why wouldn't you glorify God? Because if he is in you, who can be against you? Nobody can be against you if God is in you. Oh, my sister's calling now. So let's bring another person online that can answer to you. Here's a witness. That I didn't even know she was going to call. Oh. Okay. So I'm going to bring another sister online and she's going to witness. Hi, sister. How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing real good. So you're going to do some witnessing on my YouTube right now for me?
Okay, quickly.
Okay, quickly. So my sister's going to witness to you guys all that the Lord put us together. Am I correct? There's no other way that we could have met each other unless it was from God. Am I correct?
Yes, she's correct.
So, and the Lord put us together to help us all come home together, and me to help teach my sister, because my sister's a different person. She, we're all different, right? She's not bad. She's just her own person. She doesn't listen to many other people, and she doesn't believe other people's teachings. Does my sister believe in a lot of what the Lord gives me, or what?
Yes.
So yeah, even my sister, that other sister that's evil, believes in me, doesn't she? But yet she doesn't want it, right?
No, she doesn't. She does not at all. She just laughs and jokes about it.
Oh, okay. So she does that behind my back.
Yes, she does.
Oh, I
I
see.
didn't want to tell you that, but
Okay, well that's good. I'm glad you did, because that's witness to their hearts are colding are waxing cold. Are they not, sister? Everybody around us,
yeah.
lots of
So one
people.
question here, brother.
What?
One question. September 22, I need to be out of my house by 11:30. I need to be out all day.
Yeah. What date is that? What day is that on?
Wednesday.
This Wednesday?
Yeah.
I'm going to be at work. All I can suggest to you is what time do you have to leave?
I have to. Well, it says here the appointment scheduled for 11:30.
Okay, so you have to be out by 11:30. 11.
Yeah. 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 But if you can't, I'll try and reschedule it so that we can make it where you can.
Yeah, because I got to be. This is my last week of work because I've been laid off, fired due to the not vaccination, right?
I'll book it for next week. They just made this. It's for cockroaches, eh?
Oh, okay. So, anyways, okay. Well, I'm gonna call you after this, and we'll finish this talk. But, the Lord actually had you call for a reason, because I'm on the line, and I've been having like 10 people call me when I'm on my channel witnessing, and I haven't heard from some of them in 2 years, and they're saying, "Rod, how come everything's happening?" So I had 20 people in the last month come to me and say that.
Hi. Okay, the teacher's back.
Okay. Bye. Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, so that's my sister. Okay, I've had like so many witnesses, they just come on randomly. It's weird how God does that. They randomly call and I answer when I'm on there for them to witness to the Lord's channel. Not my channel. This is not my channel. The Lord does witnessing through this channel and through the people that are on this channel and through the people that are in my life. So I'm highly blessed and favored from the Lord. I'm given what measure I give. That's what it all boils down to. The measure that you give. Okay, so when I've been teaching that, right, Cormac, for a while. See, and I teach it different ways so that we can have it installed into you, so that the Lord can install it into you. He teaches it through my channel different ways all the time, so that you can take it in and eat those words and actually let them, if they convict you, that's good. If the word's convicting, that's good. They try to teach you, oh, if you're being convicted, get out. No. How are you going to change if you're not being convicted? That's where the change comes through. It's the conviction. the conviction of your sin and the evil that your flesh likes to do. You're being shown actually how evil your flesh is. And when you see it, you'll understand how much you hate it. It's dirty, it's vile, turn it inside out, it stinks. Literally does. What comes out of you stinks. What comes out of you is dirty. This body is gross. It's literally gross. All right. So you always have to clean it. You always have to trim it. You always have to this. You always have to that. Oh, you always have to lug it everywhere you go, man. So all this stuff that's coming on the earth is scary to some, but to you, it's for you to get that so you don't have to suffer anymore. You're never going to suffer again. So, and this is why we try to save our brothers, because we don't want them to suffer for eternity. So, but it's all in the Lord's time. Let's go back to listening to some Mike, because I got, like I'm doing, he's really helping. It's really working through him. And I'm not saying, hey, my word is the Lord's word coming through us is given differently for a reason, but it's not really given differently. What he's talking about is what I'm talking about all the time, nonstop. Today, in 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, there was about each minute he's saying something that I'm teaching each day. That's crazy. How is that even possible to be matching up like that? Because it's the Lord. This is the Lord's channel. He has a flock. We have a flock. This is the flock that the Lord gave me. But it's his. It's not mine. It's what he's gave me to shepherd over. Every herd needs a shepherd. I send you a messenger. He tells you that. I'm sending you a shepherd. This one is going to speak out what's really going on. And it's how he's spelled to speak that out is because I'm going to put him through it. So he put me through it because I wanted to teach it. So I had to go through it. And I'm still going through it. I haven't been delivering Bibles to needy. Yeah, life isn't about getting. It's about giving or doing for others. Charity. It's in your feasts of charity. You need that in your charity. But when something's in your feast of charity, that means when you're preaching, someone's always coming in going, that's a lie. That's those ones coming in, taking your word and telling everybody else that your word's a lie, right? I got some of those guys in mind, right? So we're going to keep continuing with this because this is going to be long, and Mike's coming on today too. So it's going to be another hour, guys.
Yourself from the world. It is not easy. It is downright frightening. And thank God that some of you have a good foundation in Christ, enough that you have broken your severs and ties to this world, right? Doesn't mean you don't draw a paycheck from the world. That's not what that means. It means that you no longer dive into the practices of men. You are no longer trying to belong to men in the world. You're not trying to have position among them, but you stand for something different now. But it's also time that those of you who have made it to that mark, that you vigorously and persistently teach others. Demonstrate to them the ways of the Lord. Kindness is being depleted all over the earth. People are calling wrong right and right wrong. Discernment is becoming clouded and polluted. It really is.
So there goes more. Discernment. So these people, they think they're getting discernment from these ones with big churches and tons of followers. No, there's many deceptions in those big churches and tons of followers on YouTube. I've seen them even from the teachers, like many. I can count at least 12, 13, or 14 with one. Okay. So, and I'm not pointing it out. And I do believe he is of God. I know he is. I don't believe it. I know he is. And I keep blessing him and asking God to wake him up from his fake rapture teaching and, oh, the third temple has to be built and it's God's temple that's being built. No, it's not. The Bible even tells you it's not. It's a temple for him to stand in. Don't you think it's already there? There's one that they're already standing in there, by the way. The mosque. They're already separated, and he teaches, oh, the two-state solution. Shut, man. How are you so blind? They have it's actually a 3-nation state solution going on already. They have the Muslims, they have the Christians, and they have the Jews, man. Come on. It's already split 3 times. Huh. Oh, man, and that's such a wrong teaching. The 2-state solution. That's something they did a long time ago, and they're showing it now, and people aren't seeing it. I don't understand. Well, the 2-state solution's got to come still. Well, Israel's already been separated. God said, don't separate my land. Okay? So, or I'll separate your land. Okay? So the 2-state solution is a 3-state solution. That's been there for a long, long time. You're not to mix religion with God, period. So they're all different religions, even Christian. Some say they're Christian is Christ-like. Are you Christ-like? I'm not yet, but I'm trying to be. Through him, I guess I could be. And that's in due time. Okay, let's play some more.
Clouded and polluted. And I guess I'm coming on today, this afternoon, to encourage you guys, don't forget those things. Don't forget who you are. And never forget the people right around you are suffering. They're suffering listen, one of our problems with discernment is we are so much in the practice that if we don't see it, we don't know about it. Right? And of course, you guys know I'm somewhat of an oddball. I don't have to be prompted for everything. But I'm telling you, there are people around you that are suffering. So I want to tell you this afternoon. Don't cut your hearts off. Don't do it. Don't cut your hearts off from your brothers and your sisters. There are too many people suffering in silence. Do you know that? Anybody know what suffering in silence is? That's when your life is literally going down the drain, right? But you haven't said a word. And because you don't say a word, those without discernment will never know you're in trouble. They'll never know it. Somehow we've got to change that. That internal unction that you guys get, don't ignore it. Don't let the words of men stop you from sowing into somebody else's life. Please don't do that, because that's precisely what's happening. You know how you get this unction internally? You may see somebody walking down the street or something, you know him, you say, you know what? I think that person's not doing too well. I think they need some help. But then the words of men hit your mind. Maybe some statement you heard or some argument about the border. And then it's almost like a satanic voice will speak to you and say, nah, they're just trying to get more. They need to learn to manage what they have. Don't be one of those people. Well, I'm telling you, your Father in heaven is going to be just that way to you. In your hour where you need mercy, grace, because some of you will not need financial things. You're going to need your health. And if you set yourself up not to sow any merciful thing upon anybody else because you've refused to listen to that voice of the Lord, mercy is going to be withheld from you, and your hour that's going to make or break your situation here on earth. Don't set yourself up to be like that, please. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. There are too many people. They're hurting in this. You know, I know a lot of people who they love pep rallies. I don't do pep rallies. I don't do that. I don't believe in pepping people up and getting them in a certain mood so that they start doing things. I don't believe in that. I believe in love itself. I believe in God's discernment He has gifted all of us with. I believe that we know things that nobody has ever told us. And I believe that we can perceive things of one another that nobody ever spoke. But as the world is increasing in its hatred and violence and lascivious acts, so are many in the body of Christ closing their hearts off to one another, skeptical, can't trust him. Satan speaks with accusation. He's always going to point out a fault. Don't live your life by the faults of somebody else. See them with eyes of love. Understand that all of us have faults, but people are in trouble. Case in point, Tuesday. Somebody told me a story Tuesday that I've heard too many times. A person had not been able to make their mortgage payments on their homes. They've not been able to. Their spouse died. 5 months into the home, the person is, not only do they have that eviction notice hovering over their heads, right, or that foreclosure, but they're dealing with a spouse that's gone after 46 years. That's like losing everybody you know. When you have a spouse like that of 46 years, that's everybody you know. That spouse is everybody you know. Everybody. And when they die, so do most of your dreams, so does most of your motivation and everything else, because that spouse becomes a part of you. The spouse died. This individual was dealing with severe pressure. This gentleman was a Christian, a kind Christian. Listen to me, kind, with grandchildren, very kind. All this individual needed, and I tell you, I wish this individual had been part of COT. I really do. One of the guy's brothers is part of COT. I'm not sure if it's a step brother or just a blood brother, but the brother was part of COT. The guy was dealing with all these pressures. He never received any help. He always encouraged other people, but no one knew of his struggle. The struggle was so much. Cardio infarction took place, and he died too. He died with his 2 grandbabies in the house, and they were the ones that called the ambulance. But it was a massive heart attack. Yeah, no doubt. Because everybody said when he lost his spouse, he changed, dealing with the other pressures. Right? That's all he talked about was not only did he lose his spouse, but now he's losing his home, and everything he knew was in that home. Here's the part. No one knew it. His family didn't know it. No one knew it. I bet you Christian knew it. The brother or...
But I want to stop it here. That was the end of their road. You see, they finished their journey. So he's talking about this guy that lost his wife and then he died right after. The Lord spared him from all the sorrow. You see that? The Lord was loving and kind. You know how much sorrow comes with someone you've lived with your whole life? And every person you've ever seen, you've been with your wife. So every time you see someone, you go to their place, you're remembering your wife being there with you. So everywhere you go, you're remembering your wife. And God spared him from that and took him. And it was there because they turned to one. He took both of them. You see that? He let the other one live a little more suffering, going through a little more. He was going through his last hour of testing. And God puts you through that. Makes you go to him. Even in your last hour attempt of living, you're going to be crying out for him until you're in his arms. Just like you are on this earth. So in your last days, he's going to be sending the comforter to you quite a bit, telling you, relax, it's okay. Just have peace, brother. You're going home. Just have peace here now. You've done everything. It's peace time now. And he puts you in a peace mode at that end. And you're repenting and talking to God and saying your goodbyes to people, and they're not even knowing it, okay? And sometimes you aren't. So, because sometimes they think they might recover from that, okay? But sometimes, if it's of God, and I believe if they're children of God, that He'll send the comforter to them. And if it's someone that's not of God, He'll send them something to see if they were going to call for Him. And if they don't call out for Him, then they weren't made truly to do that. I don't know, because remember the thief on the cross, that last hour, Jesus said, "You will be with me in paradise." So he made it in his last hour. So nobody knows in their last hour what God has put in front of them, and if they've passed that test, that to be worthy of God in that last hour. That was just meant for them to go all the way till then. That was what happens. Some people, they don't come to the Lord until their last days, and the Lord comes to them and offers them Him and peace and comfort if you take it. And if you don't, then you start seeing the darkness come from you. Because I know a guy that said that. Rod, every day I see shadows and they're coming up from the ground. He didn't even know what they were. So if you didn't understand the evil that you're fighting against, how do you fight against it? So when the evils that come from you that are released out of you, you're going to have to go, "Hey, it's listen, man, we already defeated you guys. Jesus already did it. Jesus is my Savior, the Son of the living God." Okay. So, anyways, let's keep going. Everybody's showing that there's nobody here, but let's keep going with this, Mike. I'm going through some suffering right now. I'm going through some groin pain. It's just right here, just right here, and it hurts so bad. But anyways, it's all good. Lord may take it away. I don't know. It's painful though.
Stepbrother. They were kind of distant because of stuff that happened in the past. This guy needed $400 to make a difference in him sleeping a night's peaceful rest or losing his home, because it was not a big home. This guy was one of those individuals who was, by no means was he rich, right? And he had a lot of things that he lived off was he compensated with the land. But he did buy things. $400 would have made the difference in this guy's life. $400. Somebody was going to foreclose his home for $400. Are you kidding me? $400 and nobody knew it. People throw that money away every day. People go play bingo. This weekend, I guarantee you, it's going to be a lot of Christians who are going to throw thousands of dollars away in gambling. Christians, I'm just being real with you. I know they're going to do it. They're going to gamble and throw thousands of dollars away. They're going to take somebody out to eat to have a conversation that could have fed 50 people. Folks, without discernment, what can we do? Nothing. But if we ignore that discernment the Lord gives us, by the way, if the Lord puts something on your heart, if you start knowing something about somebody, who do you think put it there? You think it's automatic? Discernment is your Father in heaven telling you what the real deal is. That's what discernment is. It is not you somehow deciphering a situation. No, it's your Father in heaven telling you what a real situation is. And when he speaks.
Okay, so I had to stop it there. That's what I've been telling you guys. These messengers get that real message from God. That's what they do. That's their job. That's what God does. He trusts them with that. He trusts that He'll give it out. He trusts that He's not going to put it in His own bank and save it. He trusts that He give out His word without adding or taking away from it. That's the problem. Even talks about that in the Bible. Do not add or take away. Thus this word be a cursing. Right? Basically make it void. Right? Anyways.
In those tones of love. does not command us to give to anybody. Because out of his own mouth, he loves a cheerful giver. He's not going to command us to give to anybody like that. It can give us a hint that somebody's in trouble. And if we continue to ignore it, then what? And these are folks right around us. Don't let your heart be turned off. You're going to see it with your own eyes, sir. You're going to find out something that's going to turn your stomach in due time.
Yeah, so, and when he says something's going to turn your stomach in due time, get prepared when you've finally seen your sins and what all it is all about. Like I've been shown, God showed me my sins. I was disgusted in myself. I've been feeling like puking every day for like 3 weeks now, and I'm very unhealthy feeling right now. It's just, yeah.
I'm going to take a small break. I'm going to come back. I'm going to tell you what that is. But folks, please, you got to watch in these days. You have to watch the tongues of the vipers who will teach you one thing: how to turn away from somebody else. Listen to me. If somebody teaches you to turn your back on somebody, how can that person teach you any biblical thing? You're armored on the front side. You're not armored on the back side. You can face anything. You're sent as sheep among wolves. And among those wolves are the prey of the wolves. And those people who are caught by the wolves are crying.
That's crazy. So he said the same thing as me. I said earlier, you're born in the darkness to come to the marvelous light. You're a sheep born among wolves. That's the same thing. The same teaching. Same way Jesus talked. You see that? Jesus works with both of us. Because I just talked about that on my show as well. Man, there's like, people phoning me, 2 people on this show phoning me, witnessing God to the channel. See how we're all giving it to God? It's not coming from us. God gives it to me. I give it to other people. They start getting stuff from him. We start giving it to the channel and other people, and he's building the channel. And the real people will come in eventually. I don't know when, but who knows? There's going to be a time when they're going to be really struggling for the real doctrine. And who knows? My time might be over. This might be that time. This might be the last time before there'll be no doctrine. That's what it's showing us. Jesus' doctrine's getting ready to leave this earth here soon. There'll be some of his people here, but we won't be allowed to do it above ground. We'll have to go underground. We won't be allowed to do it on YouTube.
Crying out. You're the only one that can hear that cry. You were put on this earth in answer to somebody's prayer. Because somebody said, Lord, please send somebody that can reach these people. Every time one of these small sheep are among wolves, and they die of horrible circumstances, most often they die with a prayer. Lord, send somebody to tell your message that no one else die like me. That's how they pass away, with a tender heart, thinking about everybody else but themselves, asking that the Lord send someone. And you know what he did? He had you born on this earth. You know what Satan is doing? Instead of you being the one, being the answer to the prayer so many need, every time you would walk forward to answer that call, Satan speaks and says, don't trust it. Don't trust it. Don't trust it. He's always telling people the waters are rough. Always. And what do we do when the waters are rough? We do not go in the water. Not knowing that you were made to go into rough waters. To walk on the water without a boat. That's what you were sent for. To do the impossible.
That's what I said. Your light was meant to shine, not put under a bed or a bushel. That's the same thing. You were meant to teach these people in the dark places. And if you, God will send people, He will put them when you're in this dark place. He'll put them beside you, and they're gonna wonder why you're there, because you don't drink, and because you don't do all the other things there. They're gonna know you're different. And there might be someone that sits beside you looking for what you have, that God's put it there because they've done their times of drinking. Drinking only brings pain. If you keep drinking every day, you keep stuffing all your pain, and that's why you keep drinking. But I've seen guys that they have no feelings, but as soon as they get drunk, they're bawling out all their sins that are inside them, but they're not doing anything about it. They go right back to being the person they're being. Anyways, they don't have nowhere to bawl out. Inside, everybody's bawling out if you don't have Jesus. I'm guaranteed. In some way, form, or fashion, you're bawling out. And even the people that have Jesus are bawling out. But we're bawling out for Jesus and for our brothers to have Jesus before ourselves. Anyways, and then He takes care of that. That's what people don't get.
In the face of so many. That's what you were meant for. See, that's a spiritual knowing within yourselves that you will never be able to justify nor figure out. It eats at you. You know that the Lord's word is true. But you ask yourself, how come none of it's working through me? I'll tell you why. Because you're not going into the water. If you had scuba gear on, right? You would never know that scuba gear works perfectly until you go in the water. So you're on the beach with scuba gear, but you've not entered into the water. And you're asking, where's this feeling of weightlessness? When does that come? Well, it's never going to come because you're still on the beach. Because Satan has convinced you, don't go into the waters, you can't trust it. Not knowing you've been sent.
That's like us. We're still on the beach, but we have all of our scuba gear on. And we're putting it on, and we're getting closer and closer to the water. Once we're in that water, we're weightlessness. Once we're into full grasp of Jesus and God's arm, we're in that water, and we're set free. And that's what He's telling you there. You're not going to be until you get fully into that water. And that's what He's doing to us now. He's putting us into the water. He's giving us His water to keep us filling. He's keeping our spirit. It's building our spirit here, which is collected in heaven. Your spirit's being made here, but the things you're doing here is building your spirit in heaven for you. And it's helping Jesus. And Jesus is doing all that, by the way. You're actually not doing it. Jesus is putting the people in front of you. Jesus is putting someone in front of you that's hearing your voice and seeing Jesus through you. And that's how it's done, through you. Jesus is saw through you. Okay, so let's keep going.
You go into rough waters. Hopefully that makes sense to somebody. When you go forward with responsibility, not haphazardly. Don't do anything haphazardly. Do it responsibly. There's a key to a cheerful giver who gives unto his neighbor, unto people who really need. There's a key to them, why they can be cheerful in the first place. They don't do things haphazardly, but they know the condition of their own flock. And do you know that was a command by our Father? We are to know the condition of our own flock. I do not subscribe to half of what this world subscribes to.
See, there you go. Now, since I've been a Christian, I found Mike off the bat. I tried finding many other people. I couldn't do it. I searched high and low for true word. I couldn't discern any true word coming out of many people. Then I started finding some people. I found Steve Quayle too at the same time. And I found a lot of false teachers, like almost every one of them, besides them too, are really the closest teaching that my heart checks with. So, yeah, it's crazy. So I don't like having too many teachers. Um and God doesn't allow me to have that. There's only so many he lets me have. And now I'm stable in the teachers I have, and I don't look for any more because I'm good with the Mike and the Steve Quayle that I have, and sometimes Eddie Flowers. I'm good with those. But the day you go to say, well, I don't need someone to teach me, then you're thinking you know it all. Okay. Or you're always studying. You're always having the Lord teach you. See, some people do it that way. Everything they do comes out of that Bible. They don't just read 2 or 3 pages a day. They read at least 10 or 20 a day, or 30 or 40 or 50 a day. Okay. So they really devote it to the Lord. And then because they're believing in the Lord's going to give it to them, don't you think he does? Because he's given the measure through books of the Lord's going to give measure to you. So if you were to sit there and help people come to God and read your Bible, and that's all you were to do, you'd have no problems making it into heaven. Save your brother. If you're saving your brother and reading your Bible and forgiving, and forgetting is forgiving. Forgiving and forgetting go in the same pod. You can't do one without the other. It's like having one sock on one foot and no sock on the other foot, right? So we know how that goes. Let's keep moving on with Mike here now for a bit. See, I like using it because then I can reference. Listen, this isn't about his teaching, and I'm teaching. His is his teaching, right? But it's the same as my teaching, and it's given to us by the Lord, and we're teaching the same things at the same times. And every other teacher is teaching rapture. Steve Quayle doesn't believe in it. He's been telling the people for many years. There's no such thing as, it's called transformation or transfiguring. Okay, it calls it a couple, transfiguration, the hill of transfiguration, right? So, anyways, people don't get that. They think their body is flying to heaven when it's appointed for every man to die once. What does that mean? Your flesh has to die. From dust I come, from dust I go. Okay, so let's listen to some Mike. I have to get up because that pain is really hurting when I'm sitting right now.
When it says, well, if you don't have enough for this bill or that bill, just give it to the church. I don't believe in that. How can I rob a power company and give it to a cause where somebody needs it when you promised to pay that bill in the first place? They've already rendered service. You cannot break one oath to make another. You cannot murder on the left hand and bless on the right hand. You can't do it. You cannot steal on the left hand and give with the right hand. This is not the days of Robin Hood. You can't do it. Everything you do charitably, freely of your heart, you do with great responsibility and with a knowing. Knowing first where it came from. Your father or some other motivation, but you know where it came from. Hopefully it is your father. You go forward with all faith and purpose everything you do. Please, but please don't cut those folks off around you. Time to stand up, utilize that discernment. And if you don't know if the other person, if you have an unction about somebody, right? Because I've done this plenty of times. Having an unction about someone, but I'm not sure. You know what I'll do? I'll go up to the person. I'll start a conversation. I'll do it in a heartbeat. And then, sure enough, it pops out. And I'm already prepared for that situation. Do you guys understand? See, I'm not one of those, if I'm not sure, I'm going to walk away. Well, I'm not sure I'm going to walk away. Nope, but I'm not doing that. When I'm not sure, that's when I have to verify. When my discernment is low in certain places, that's when I have to verify. I have to be sure, so I just go up and ask the person. I'll just make it plain. But if anything comes in my head and causes me to accuse the person, I will toss it out quickly. I don't listen to such things. You know how many times this happened here in COT? Oh, don't do so and so for such and such, because if you do, it's stop. I don't permit such things. What about those who, people who talk? There was a person who talked about me like a dog, like a dog. Then they had a dire need. And it just so happened in that moment we could help. We did help without hesitation. See, that's how the Lord works. Just like that, right? But what about those folks around you? What about the folks in your neighborhood? When's the last time, guys, you went down to your neighborhood kitchen where they feed people and just asked them, can I do anything? Can I give you something? When's the last time? When's the last time you looked into those charitable things in your community? When's the last time? I tell you, the love in people is just drying up. Violence is breaking out. The time of the harvest is right now. And we're not talking about getting rich and all this stuff. That's not what we're talking about. Nor are we talking about emptying your pockets. We're talking about acts of love in a time where people are chopping love off. They don't want to love their neighbor. They want to shut all their doors and windows. They want a big booming voice from the sky to say, you're going to make it through. Everything is okay. I'm telling you, the way out of the current crisis is to love even more. With that commitment, you become an overcomer. My Lord, humanity has had a break for at least 4,000 years. Do you guys know what the conditions were in the 1300s? Now, I'm not talking about speculation, but do you know what the conditions were on this earth in the 1300s? I know the history they've taught people, but do you know what the conditions actually were during the times of the Renaissance? Do you know what the conditions were? There's a story that would blow your mind. Relatively recent events, not in our generation, of course, but in recent events, would blow your mind and turn everything upside down. Why? Because right now you can go and find and you can verify everything I would tell you about that time. I'll give you a small example. You guys are aware of some of these paintings where people say UFOs are in them, right? Let me educate you on something. Look closer at the paintings. You're going to start to see clear symbols that were used during that time to represent something. In other words, certain things that look like UFOs, not UFOs. That's not what they were. They were scriptures in a painting. But then other things, well, that's a different story, right? It's clearly a different story, like some of the Japanese are. It's a different story. Funny thing is, all of it happened at the exact same time and moment. Some of the news articles that came out a long time ago when they used to put things in wood, there's 17 of the exact same articles that were around the earth. Well, they happened, right? Things that people saw, things you're about to see, things you have seen. Certain people, right? But the calamities no one tells you about. The disease, hardly talked about.
So the things in the skies that I have pictures of, I have pictures like the Bible explains them. Ezekiel's wheel in Ezekiel 6, I do believe. It talks about they look like a barrel. They look like a torch. They look like a shiny pearl. I have each and every one that the Bible speaks of, even of God. He's the rainbow roundabout. When God's throne is near, he's the rainbow roundabout with the white light in it. Okay. So the Bible explains that. I have all those pictures. I am one of those ones that gets to see all those things in the heavens and has pictures of them. And every once in a while, I do a video. So if you guys are just new here, go back on my videos, look for the thumbnail, usually I show my videos with this thumbnail. Sometimes I erase it because they do. I get uh I get warnings and also guideline strikes for showing my pictures to teaching you guys what they are, because they're real. So they give real stuff guideline strikes. They give the fake stuff promotion. So anybody with false teachings on YouTube is getting the promoting motions, and they're selling stuff, if you didn't notice, on YouTube, and YouTube's paying them. And but YouTube tells them basically keep up what you're doing just like you are, keep teaching people uh what your belief is in, and will promote you at all facts, because they're using that person to their agenda one way or another form, because the more subscribers someone has, the more money that YouTube is making off of them as well. So uh and then they're getting rich off of YouTube. So some of these people have that many followers on YouTube, and some of them are wrong teachers, which used to make me crazy, but now doesn't bother me anymore. I'm used to it. In this time, there's barely any proper doctoring around right now, and it says in this time it'll be hard to find, because people are also given over to their own delusions so that they don't find it, right? A stumbling block put in front of your feet, pissing on the wall. So if you're peeing on a wall, it's going to spray back on you. So if you're putting out whatever you're putting out, it's coming back out on you. So if you're putting out evil, then that's coming back out on you. You're pissing up against the wall, is what the Bible calls it, right? So if you're putting good up against you, well, then that pea is being turned good. The rotten in you is being turned good by Jesus Christ, okay? So, and we're made righteous through him. And I know the following things that were required that I've had to go through to get what I've had to get, and is a price to pay. So physically, mentally, and spiritually, it is wicked. And I fell into the Lord's hands many times, even with a dart, okay? And I wish not to do it. And he was trying to get me to do it. Sin. When I was just standing up there a few minutes ago, walking around, he was trying to get me to convince me to go sin while this was playing. And I was like, no way would I ever defile the Lord's word with that sin. And I just came and sat down. Okay, so he's there, and when he says the evil's at your doorstep when you're doing good, it's vice versa too. When you're doing evil, God's also watching. He's marking it down. Now he's going to do something to uh uh what is it? What do I call it? Recompense it back on your head. Okay. And especially if you're his child, he has to recompense it back on your head, because you can't in heaven. It'd make him a liar. No sin goes to where there's heaven. No evil is there. Only peace, love, joy, and harmony, and all that stuff of good is there. No evil. Okay, so I'm like, wow, this is a long show. Okay, I'm gonna keep going though. Here comes Mike again.
All of us know about the Black Plague, correct? But do you know what happened before the Black Plague? No. What about the current disease that's on? What about measles that just escaped quarantine? Are you guys aware of that in the USA and Europe, I believe? Measles outbreaks that just it skipped quarantine. It's out of quarantine, right? So there's a measles outbreak, right? You guys remember the one on the West Coast a few years back, and lots of people started catching the measles. And what they did was they shut Disney World down because that's where most of the outbreaks were. Well, this is a different strain, a strain that's quite resilient to antibiotics, and probably very few have an immunity to it, but nevertheless, it's here. You guys know about flesh-eating bacteria, correct? flesh-eating bacteria that's becoming a problem in the USA. The reason why you can't hear it is because of all this vaccine and COVID-19 nonsense. I call it nonsense. COVID-19 is a very serious disease. It doesn't matter the origins of it. It's here. We have to deal with it. It is killing people. But it's just nonsense how everything is politicized so much you can't even extract the truth out of anything. Right? I mean, everybody thinks they have the truth, but COVID-19 is going to be an afterthought compared to some of the other things that are floating around in the USA that are killing people every single day, but you can't hear it because of COVID-19. They're still trying to make money in the media, so they talk about COVID-19 to boost the ratings. Something similar to what's happening today happened a long time ago in the Renaissance. Something devastating, something that's about to happen again. Something that began with the heavens. Something that's forming now, just like it did back then. And I'll tell you something, just like the fires that were in California and various places. When people heard of the...
Yeah, I'm putting a stop to it because it talks about the black cloud that's going to be... There'll be a thick black cloud. Okay, they're even sing a song. That cold black cloud is coming down. Feels like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Hi, 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 yeah. Knocking on heaven's door. So that cold black cloud is coming down. Feels like I'm knocking on heaven's door. You see that? Even the songs, it's crazy. So heaven's door, man, there's that black cloud that consumes the darkness before the light is there, because he consumes it with the brightness of his coming. As he's coming, the darkness is fleeing, and it's taking up what it has to, or well, whatever, you know what I mean. It's taking up the darkness as it goes along. So I've seen this black cloud, man. I've been seeing it for the last couple months. I do believe 2 months. When I came back from, here's once, when I came back from my holidays and we had a wedding to go to, we were outside and there was this cloud over top. It wasn't a normal cloud. It was a thick cloud of darkness, and it was like it was all one. It was like it was oil. Didn't even look like a cloud. Do you know what I mean? It was like it was oil. Is that the oils that are burning up in us, going back up, and then going to be recompensed on the world? But we have to be recompensed of it now? I don't know. Sure sounds like it. So the evil that's being taken out of us, it's in many people. So it also comes back to recompense on their head instead of yours, because you have to reap what you sow, because you can't sow it in heaven. So you have to go through these pains, these sufferings, these afflictions. And if you're not of God, you're not going through the attacks from Satan. Satan's there to kill and destroy you. If you're being attacked by him, something's going right. You're doing something right. You're starting to learn to overcome his dark tricks. That's what we're doing. And some things are a little bit tougher than others. You have to go through some pain and suffering of your strong man to get them out. Trust me, man. And I've been going through 3 months of being delivered from this thing, and what's coming out of me, out of the bottom end and in my mouth, is not like, it's not even coming from me. It's weird. I can't even explain to you. When you go through deliverance, you go through it spiritually and physically. People don't understand. When I'm going through deliverance from Jesus, my eye is twitching. I'm burping up egg smells. I'm farting up egg smells, big farts, big gassy. Like, I don't know. It's unreal. It's like they're not even my farts and my burps, and I've been explaining that. And I went through it for 2 days, for the last 2 days. And today I'm not going through it, but 2 days I went through it on the weekend. And that's because all I keep doing is my sin when I'm even in the dark place says, "Oh, have a look, go look." And I'm like, "No, you're not looking." And I look away. You know what I mean? So I'm constantly fighting and saying no so many times to so many things every day. Every once in a while, when I don't do enough and do that measure for the Lord, I fail him. And that's the oil that is being burnt out of us. Uh, He is not allowed to touch it, and that's why it's floating over our head. Do not touch the oil and the wine. That's our oils. I do believe. But anyways, because that's what the Bible says. So don't touch the oil and the wine. So, and the oil is the tribulation oils that we get, right? Through the sufferings and the afflictions and the attacks and the backstabbings and the being cursed and being used. So that just happened to me from my own sister. She'd been mocking me the whole time. Yeah. The whole time my sister's been mocking me. So, and I pray that God, hey, you know what? I don't wish even on people that have been mocking me for years. I don't wish the worst for them. I hope God does something to wake her up. But all the daughters and everything said us for never to call them again or have any contact with them or their mother again, with my sister. So if she dies, I can't really be there for her. And if they're calling me on the phone though, I'll be there in words and encouragement to their mother and saying how much I actually loved her and encouraging them with the Lord and whatever they do. Because I know when someone dies, people are going to reach out whether they dislike you or not. They're going to reach out to you because they're going to cry to you for help, or they're just going to be crying to you and wanting the attention. I don't know. But, anyways, so let's go on with this mic here because, yeah, like I said, I got to halfly sit up and stand up right now. That pain again is my back and my problems. But, you know, and I don't want to complain. So let's move on.
Threat of fire, but made no movements, and the fire came and pushed them out of their homes. So will an event in the skies do the exact same thing. People are not they're not gonna really take it seriously, and it's gonna befall their heads. They won't take it serious. It's kind of like when you read Zephaniah.
Okay, so this is what I've been teaching. The destroyer's coming. It's going to fall on our heads soon. They're watching it come in. They keep backing up the time because they know it's coming soon. The passive of the destroyer's coming so soon. The veil is going to be torn so soon, and the darkness is going to come from it, and people are going to see that. And I believe that's the event that's causing all this other stuff to was triggered to try to have everybody point all their concentration on all the junk instead of see the real thing that a fool like me could have. I have pictures of it. I have tons of pictures of it. So I don't even need the proof. God's given it to me on my film. All right. So and people don't, that picture I have of the destroyer manifesting, no one has that in the world. I believe that's the only picture that anybody's got of any object in the sky manifesting a demon. I have another one, by the way. I was looking on my computer. I have one with this like electrical hue going around and a red ball in the middle of it. Electrical current going around it. The red ball in the middle. That's what I saw out of it. That's what you can see out of it. I can show you it out of it. And it's in the shape of a skull. And half of the skull was blown off. It was crazy. It was like God was showing me him taking apart some of the wicked that's in our sky right now. Because you got to remember, Satan is above us. The first heaven, first part of it is Satan, because he's running the world right now. He's being rented this world to do his job, and that's to bring God's real children home and take his children home to be evaporated eventually, even out of the book of life and out of hell itself, because it'll be blotted out. The lake of fire will be blotted out because God will still have some compassion. He doesn't want those people to live through it for eternity, and he's going to blot it out. That's God's love. It'd be better that you weren't known. Okay. So let's keep going with Mike. This is a long show. This is like a 3. I do believe we have another. That's 30 minutes. This is 100. I better get going.
Right? We start reading in Zephaniah. You start seeing all the destruction and the things that God is displeased with in the book of Zephaniah. You begin to ask yourself, what in the world did they do to deserve this? Then we read the whole book, you begin to understand something. God's not playing around, he's not playing games. Man is playing games. Our Father is quite serious in everything he's going to do. Men are the ones that have said, well, God is laughing and all that. No, they don't know what he's doing.
No, I don't believe God has a sense of humor. And that's another wrong teaching. When they say God has a sense of humor, no, God's actually quite serious about salvation. I do believe it's no joking matter to him. I don't see how it could be. This is his job. He wants to see it that his kids make it home. That's what he promised them. That's what he's going to do. He is a man on, joking while you're doing a test. And you can't be sitting there joking around as you're doing a test for your final exam in college. You're not going to be joking around, are you? Well, we're in our final test right now, and our final exam is going on right now. And this is where you get all your marks, by the way. Your marks for that passing grade that we all desire that Jesus gives you. All right.
But we know this. Everything is progressively moving towards some major things happening in the earth. And when those major things come, it doesn't matter if a person has all the preparations in the world, they put themselves in a 30-foot steel cage or a steel box full of oxygen, full of food and everything else. It's not going to help them against what's coming. Did you guys hear about in 2015? Was it 15? There were some folks in 2012. Of course, everybody started building these underground shelters. You guys remember about that, right? They were selling these underground shelters. You guys remember that? First, they started talking about, well, you need to have all your preparations underground, which was foolishness in the first place. But this is what they did. They say you need to have all of it underground. So these companies started popping up and they started making these underground modules that you could actually buy. Well, they sold quite a bit. Continue to hear me. They sold quite a bit. Now, mind you, some of the same people who were talking about the 2012 thing are out there today doing the exact same thing. Hint, hint, note, note. So they sold these underground modules and buckets of food. Out of all the modules they sold, not one of them survived. This particular company. And it wasn't only that one, but I'm talking about one. You know what happened to all of them? When the rains came, all of them filled with mud. Every single last one of them filled with mud. And now it's like concrete. Everything inside was lost. Everything inside was lost. Some people invested their entire lives, their entire savings of their life in these underground little tiny facilities, little chambers, little pods, and they lost everything. Some people sold everything they had, and they lost everything. But do you know why millions of people lost everything? Does anybody know why? Anybody give me the short answer? I'll tell you why. They believed the evidence.
Yeah.
They did not operate by faith, but they believed the evidence.
Yeah.
They allowed evidence.
So we don't believe by sight. We believe by faith. Well, they believe by sight. Well, anybody that believes by sight's going to fail according to what the Bible says. Am I correct? Hallelujah. So, having faith, you be getting sight. The more faith you be getting, the more sight you be getting. The more discernment you be getting, the more truth you be getting. The more you're putting in, the more you're getting out. If you don't put out enough at that time, the Lord's going to look up and say, oh, he didn't really put much of an effort. Most of his effort was towards himself. He was constantly praying for himself. He was constantly doing stuff for himself. He was constantly buying himself stuff. He was constantly sinning. He was constantly lying. He didn't have Jesus. Game over. So there's a whole bunch of, he didn't do this and he didn't do that. He should have done this and he should have done that. And that's what people are going to say in this time when it comes when it befalls in front of them. Oh, I'm sorry, God, I thought for sure, I did kind of believe you. No, you didn't until you seen him. You needed the proof there. You got the proof, but it's too late when you've gotten that proof because he stepped on the earth and you've been changed. So, and you know it. And what are you going to do? Argue against him when you're darkness and he's light? And you know the fullness of it all now in the Bible, and you know what you are? Can't deny what you are when you've been turned into it. That's like you're naked. You're now exposed for being the evil you are. You weren't covered. You were turned into the evil that you were. You're being consumed by your own self, all the evil that you did through your own self. Anyways, let's keep going.
Change what God had naturally put in them. Let me ask you this, are you doing the same? Didn't your Father in heaven naturally put things in you when you were a child? You knew about things that nobody else did. He naturally put them into you. How many of you have allowed evidence to change what God naturally put into you? And how many times do we have to learn the same lesson? Here's a lesson. Here it is right here. It's when you automatically know something, but then over time you allow evidence to change it, new findings change it. And then something happens and you're mad at yourself saying, I should have never altered what I believed in the first time, because now it manifested. And I already knew it was going to manifest. But because I changed it, because I started believing something else, I feel foolish. Faith is not evidence. Faith is also not foolishness. Do you know that? With great integrity and responsibility. Faith does work, but it also requires responsibility. We're not talking about your imaginations. We're talking about what the Lord put in all of us when we were young. Before we ever got here, we had unknowing about a few things. People are doing that once again by the weight of evidence. They're making moves. Listen, that means you're letting evidence guide your steps. That's what you're doing. You're letting evidence guide your steps. They're doing it again. And while everybody's going to start following the evidence, let me tell you the flip side of that. The same thing that happened in 2012, it's the same thing that's going to happen now, and I pray it does not. I pray I can just mess it up. There were a lot of churches during 2012 people just stopped giving money to. I knew the reason, but a lot of people didn't. See, a lot of people started taking their money out of fear and everything else. They began to invest in these weird things, but they stopped giving to the mission of the gospel. They just totally stopped giving. But all the while, if you start looking at the bookwork, all these companies that were selling little tiny buckets of foods, they were making millions of dollars, millions of dollars. So they had enough to both buy the food and sell it at 300 times what it cost. Enough that all of them bought mansions, new cars, made investments, this, that, and the other. They're looking good now. But nothing happened on 2012, but they made a bunch of rich people. Because people invested in the evidence that was presented to them, and they stopped operating by faith. Had people operated by faith during that time, they would have sowed into their neighbors, they would have sowed into children, they would have sowed into any mission of the gospel. They would have sowed in everything there, because if you believe that things are about to be destroyed and your Lord is coming, if you truly believe that, then accountability, you know he comes with accountability. That means you have to stand before him and give account of all things in your life. If people really believe that, then wouldn't you get your soul right? Not get your flesh protected, but get your soul right? Wouldn't that be the primary objective, is to make sure that you're clean, unspotted? If people really believe that the Messiah was coming back, they go through the house and start throwing out everything. They say, oh, I'm not going to be caught with this in my home when the Messiah comes. This and that won't be in my heart when the Messiah comes. I'm not going to have this over here, and then I didn't respond to my neighbor who needed help. I'm going out to help them, because I'm not going to be one of those who just sat here and waited, who sat on the coin that the Lord gave them in the beginning and presented the same coin back. I'm not going to be one of those. Well, our Lord is coming. He's going to say, what did you do with the life?
Oh, that's what I just taught earlier part in the show. What the penny that the Lord, what bit the Lord's given to me at the beginning of this race, of the end final race lap, was enough to get me to the end to give out to the other people. Why would I be holding it into myself? It's not for me, it's for you. This is exactly what I teach, and now Mike's teaching it again. He's talked about 30 things so far in 30 minutes. Each minute, one thing that I've been talking about today, too. That's crazy.
If I gave you, and no one can utter a lying word before him. So with the life God has given all of us, what will we say? The Lord already told us what all humanity will say. There are scenarios. Because many will say, well, I really didn't believe you were coming back. I really believed that we were on our own. That's what it is when a person says God will not do good nor evil. That's a person saying, we have to make decisions down here. God is not involved. So when you read that in the Bible, when God says what he will do to those who said in their hearts, God will not do good nor evil, then you'll know. That's when men think things are happenstance on the earth. Like God is not managing everything down here on this earth. Everything is highly purposed because you're here. The earth was created for you. You were not created for the earth. The animals were created for you. You were not created for the animals. The atmosphere, the waters, how things are, they were created for you. You were not created for them. God built a house, and he prepared it carefully. And that house is called earth. Then he put his children in that house. And he said, grow and keep my ways. But when the children grew, they said, no one put us here. We just, happened to be here.
Yeah, I want to make a point too. Do you think God made this earth for Satan's people either? For the people that are of his children? No, he didn't. They just happen to be the fallen ones, and we have to go through the repercussions that they caused because we're the ones put in the midst of it to battle it, put into darkness. And this part is the birthing part to a big battle. And we have to come and clean off this earth, and God will clean off what he has to, and we will judge the angels. That's what the Bible says. So what does that mean? That means all these evils that have put you through what you've been through now, you get even, and God's going to let you be a part of that as well. So that's awesome as well. Redemption for us on the evil, not the people, the evil that have caused you. So the evil that's been put on you is the evil that you will destroy with Jesus. And you're not going to do it on your own. It's going to be this many against that many, God's army against his army. But the only thing wrong with it is God's army is all consuming light, and the dark army is dark. So the light will consume it. That's how he kind of showed it when they come up through the catacombs. I just took the soul out of the body. I asked God, why am I going to this catacomb? That was the first part of the battle. He showed me a demon came up, and I grabbed it and I took its soul out of I evaporated it. Okay. So I had that dream twice, and it wasn't much more. It was the same dream twice. It was very little. All I remember is here. Okay, so here was me up here, and all I couldn't see nothing that I was with or on or that was with me. I couldn't see nothing. I was just up here, and then all of a sudden, zip, I was down here in a catacomb. And I asked the Lord, "What am I doing here?" And a spirit came up. I grabbed its head, put my face on it, and sucked its soul out. I don't know what else happened. The next time, I bit its head and sucked its soul out. Little teeny bit different of a thing in it, but so, and that's exactly not how it's going to happen. God's just showing you you're going to be involved in this, in taking the evil off this earth. Okay, so the evil that was all bound here from the start, that will be here until we make the partake of Magog, Gog and Magog, and finish taking it off the earth. So because this earth is going to be heaven, there'll be no more darkness anymore.
Isn't that what the world says? And now that the owner of the one who made the house is on the way back, and he already said what he would do in the process of coming back. He told us what he would do. He also told us that generations of people would lie and deceit before he came back. In other words, they would be taken by the doctrines of this world. And I'm telling you that in this hour, you got to be careful. People are fighting to have you believe in things. And that's what I want to leave you with. Folks, follow me on this. Listen, please listen to this carefully. And don't let this be a mystery to you. What you are witnessing in the world is a fight to have you believe in something. And if you don't believe that, then write that down on a piece of paper and say, people are fighting to have me believe in something. That's all you got to write down. I want you to write it down so that you can remember. And every time you hear someone talk, you tell me they're not fighting to have you believe in something they want you to believe in. Go ahead. Because if you turn on your television, it's a war going on right now to convince you to believe in what they're saying. If you turn to CNN, C-SPAN, any of those channels, it's a fight over you. They're killing each other to get you to believe what they're presenting. Start listening to things in truth, because that's precisely what's happening. Why would people kill each other? To get you to believe a certain way. And worst of all, why would a believer in Christ kill somebody else to get you to believe in a certain way, when Jesus already said, my sheep hear my voice, and a stranger they will not follow? See, there's something happening now that all people are engaged in. And if you're not careful, You're going to mess up. You're not going to see the true fight at hand, of which just about everybody's engaged. Right now, everybody's engaged. If you write that down, what I told you to write down, you can listen to yourself speak, and you're going to find out you've been advocating for somebody in the world to have somebody else believe in a specific way. You're going to hear it come out of your own mouth. How many people are fighting to get you to believe in the words of Christ? And you know,
The core 33. You know what that means? 33-degree Masons. Pepsi. Core. The corporation. Do you get it? The corporation is what Satan runs through. This is how he runs everything. 33 means 33-degree Mason. 33. That's crazy. I just had to stop for that to show you guys that. These are the guys that are doing everything. ISIS is back. They're the ones that funded that they were back, gave them all their stuff. They're just people of Muslim religion that have some family that were Taliban, and they all joined up again, and back come the forces to do something that they can blame it on, and it really wasn't them. It was a huge false flag. That's what's coming, and it's going to cause lots of death. And the destroyer's coming too, by the way. And then when it reveals itself, they're going to reveal what they're going to do to try to take everybody's attention to what's really happening. And God's people will see it all. Anyways, keep going, Mike.
You want to be frank with you, to be honest, to be open, to be candid with you. Just like I have a responsibility over every word I say, you have a responsibility not to let me slip. Because I'll tell you right now, if you start hearing me advocate for what men have established in this earth, you better interrupt the broadcast and tell me. All of you should. And just simply say, Mike, that is of men. Aren't we here to say what is of our Father, not of men? You have that responsibility. Because if I ever begin to advocate for men, I've lost it. I'm not here to advocate for men. I am but a man who is growing in Christ. And as I grow, I intercede for those men who are lost. By the word, that word men means ladies also. That's humanity. As I grow, I intercede, as the Lord purposes me to intercede. But I am not to bolster viewpoints of men. I am not to bolster a man-made kingdom, anything in the earth. But we are to hold the banner of righteousness high. And every single banner of righteousness, there's a name attached to it, Jesus of Nazareth. You cannot have righteousness absent the name of Jesus, or it is not righteousness of the Father. Because no one goes to the Father but by Christ. And anybody who tries to make their way up any other way is a thief, Jesus said. You know what that means, don't you? There's a lot of people who follow something, but they're trying to go around Christ. Haven't you noticed? Folks, be careful in these days.
Yeah, so people are trying to go around Christ. Well, I noticed that right away. Like, I know there's this lady pastor that has millions and millions of followers, and she changed her face, and I can't believe someone I know is still following her. She is one of these new age teachers. Okay. She is not supposed to be that deep into the pulpit making millions of dollars and saying God told me to have surgery on my face to make me beautiful, and it didn't work. It destroyed her face totally. God went against her. You should know the tree by its fruit, and these people that say they know God, they actually don't know what the fruit is. So God shows us the fruit, by the way, too. And he won't show you the bad fruit until you are ready not to judge it. And that's what he did with me. He didn't show me really who was bad and who was good until I could discern it, right? So this is a long show. This is a 3-hour show. This is a long show for me. And we still got another. I don't think I'm going to make it through that. Okay. So I'm going to have to put the rest of this mics on. Maybe tomorrow's YouTube. Where am I at? Because he's probably going to be coming on in an hour, and I'll be on my Mixler in an hour. I got some things that I got to talk about on my Mixler here that I can't talk about here. This is why you guys have to have my Mixler. That stuff I cannot talk a lot about. The Destroyer, I cannot talk about that and show lots of it. I cannot talk about what they're doing with the vax and all that. That is to be kept off of this channel. We're to be speaking in all holy manner, and there's a reason why God set us for to do that. And this time, if we're not, you're going to be taken offline. That's happened in some people's teachings. I've seen it. They're teaching, no, time's here now. I can guarantee on my birthday, and it never happened. Well, I had a visitation from an angel of light in a dark alley. Well, first of all, when you get a visitation from an angel, they don't present themselves to you, not to everybody, because you didn't see. They said, them who are blessed who haven't seen. So that's why God does that. And the people, there are some people he reveals himself to. It says that, whether it be a dream via a vision. So I believe they're both the same. Dream or vision. They're a vision, they're a dream. A vision's a dream, you're just awakened. A dream is a vision, you're sleeping. Okay? So, and you're not control of your dreams either. God and Satan is. God is not allowing me to have dreams right now. He's given me enough. He doesn't need to give me any more. And he knows I give him the faith for that. I don't need any more than what he's already given me. 6 visitations. Some people don't get one. Words speaking to me. It's called my name out a couple times in my life. But the words he spoke to me were very little. Love, which is the biggest word of all. The biggest good word of all, because God is love. And prepare. And I didn't know what he was talking to, and I automatically started preparing. Jesus already was preparing me, and I didn't even know what I was preparing for. I was calling myself harbinger of Jesus Christ, and I didn't know what it was. And he is the one that gave me that name, and now I know what it was for. My channels came to a fruition, and people missed it. And God is saying this person on this channel that's in front of you right now might not be here, probably won't be here for more than a year or two. And that's if I'm unlucky. Pray to be worthy, that you be willing to escape all these things that are coming up on the earth and down on the earth. Doesn't quite go into like that, but that's, pray that you're worthy to escape what's coming here. It's going to be a wicked time, and some of these pastors that haven't been through this yet, they're going to have to be wickedly strong, and they're stronger than me, those ones, because I believe God knows that I might not be. Who knows? I don't know. I might be one of them ones that are strong enough to survive that. I might be one that go and sit. But what God's showing me is that I go to the wedding and the supper of the Lamb, and then when the destruction of God comes here, we watch that and we get our tears wiped away. We come back down and we teach. There'll be no more darkness for 1,000 years. Satan will be cast in for 1,000 years. And a kid's cartoon, Tinkerbell, it's called, shows that exact process, almost exactly as how it happens. The movie Tinkerbell, the cartoon. I would watch that if I were you. You'll see the beast has the two horns. He goes up to heavens and God cuts his horns off. And the Tinkerbell says he has to go back into the earth for 1,000 years. Oh, how we will miss him. And he's a big beast, but they love him. That's exactly out of the Bible. Tinkerbell. You know, the little fairy? They have a cartoon out. It was a couple years ago. You should, I suggest every Christian should watch that. You're going to be blown away. It so depicts the beast out of the Bible when it rises, too. When it rises, they all love it. They're worshiping it. All the fairies are worshiping it. Oh, but it's strong. But let's just love it and it'll take care of us. It'll love us. And then yet when God cut its horns after it rained for a certain time, the one fairy said that it had to go into the ground for 1,000 years, exactly what the Bible says, until it could be let loose again. It's like the Bible said. You got to watch that movie. It's quite crazy. Okay, so if Mike's on at 5, and give it between 5 and 7 o'clock, my mountain time is when he comes on. Sometimes 3 or 4, he might be on now. So the notification for that will come up on my Mixler. Please get my Mixler app. Go to your apps, MIXLR. Punch in looking in your seek button, RODP. Follow. If there's a follow button there. On the bottom, it's called Showreel. It's very small, all the way at the bottom of that page with my face on it. Its bottom is 100 and some shows on a Showreel. That's all you need to know. It's all you need to listen to on there. It's imperative that you prepare yourself for the time we're in. It's coming. I'm proof of it. God's showing through me how quick it's coming. It's crazy how he's doing it. Okay. I lost my job. None of this. I didn't get this. No job. And it's going everywhere. It's Canada wide now. Okay. So, and every building and every place will have it implicated in a couple months. So I won't even be able to go to a grocery store. I have lost my job. Okay. So now we're getting ready for the destroyer. See, all of God's people, I believe, have been speaking this out really loud for the last since 2017, and that big sign was seen in heaven of the 12 stars over Virgo, which is the Virgin Mary. The 12 stars is Leo, and the Leo is the lion, which is Jesus. And in her belly, like never was before, was a red orb, the destroyer. Come here to destroy God and make war with the children of God. That picture's right above your eyes. My thumbnail on my thing is that. Okay. And the destroyer is that. And God's given me plenty. Even today, I went out and took a picture. I can do it every day the sun's out. One day I go out there and take a picture and it manifested a demon and it brought someone to God. Someone that didn't believe in God noticed it, was with me, beside me, and he said, "That's a demon." And now he believes in God. and the witnesses that are calling me when I'm on my channel every time, verifying what's going on, that I've been telling them that the Lord's giving me, and people still ain't catching on to this channel. Anyways, anyone are blessed to hear this channel of the Lord's. Not me. It's not my channel. The Lord said, I'll build you a church. You know why? Because they all kicked me out. I was kicked out of the churches for what I was teaching. They overheard it. And their soul, the darkness in them, went against my light and said, get out of my church. That's what happened. And one of my seeds got lost in that church. And I hope she finds her way out. Okay, so God bless you guys. I'm going on Mixer 5 Mountain Time, 5 to 7, maybe even now. Let's see if Mike's on right now. If not, I'm gonna go lie down until he comes on, because I'm exhausted every day, man. I'm not very healthy. So that will leave at 39. I just have to remember where we were, because we're going to continue on that teachings of Mike's, because they're just so close to, they're just like, even as I was teaching, I didn't know what was coming up. He taught it after, even today, many times. So it's quite crazy. So he's not on right now. So anytime expect after 5 o'clock. Okay, God bless you guys. Thanks for coming. Love you guys all.